The following is a special presentation of iRacing on LSRTV, your home for sim racing. Live tonight from the Myrtle Beach Speedway, it is week number 19 of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series presented by the Championship Esports Association. As we get set for another Wednesday night of short track action, we welcome you upstairs into the LSRTV booth where we say good evening sim racing fans, alongside of myself, Evan Pasoko, joined by Austin Coop and Chris Murdoch. Downstairs pushing and tweaking dials is the lovely and talented Cisco Scarvosa, produced it for us this evening. And also, we wrapped a couple of things up 2 weeks ago, actually, with the off week, but back here again this week, and this is the final points race for the rest of the series that haven't already concluded, and it is a pretty busy week 19 on the schedule. 6 different races across 5 divisions on tap tonight.
Yeah, first we're going to have the street stocks, which will come up first, and then they will have another feature. They're going to be basically the end caps of the night, except for the U-Car. They'll obviously start last, but it'll be a fairly lengthy night for some of these guys, especially the street stock guys who'll be coming in right now, and then they'll also be coming out around 10:30-ish. So that'll be fun to watch. Also, there's going to be Chargers, Legends, and then a 75-lap super truck race. That'll also be really fun to watch.
Of course, throughout all of these, we'll be able to take you through what the championship picture likes when we get around to them, Chris. But tonight is going to start with the straight stocks only division, in which we're going to see 2 races out of them this evening with twin 20-lap main events.
Yeah, and I think that'll actually really be interesting, Evan. Start them in the evening time and then end in the nighttime. We always like that nighttime racing and the changes. So starting off the night with the street stocks is definitely a good way to start as they get ready to get on the grid here.
First of many races set to rock and roll. Cars are on track. Let's take you down trackside and take a look at the LSRTV starting grid for what ends up being the second to last straight stock points race of the season. The pole position in this one belongs to the 42 of DJ Beverly, who will start from pole position. Dustin Turnage going to be shotgun front row on the outside in second position. Jody Green rolls off in third tonight, accompanied by Will Dravicki in fourth to the outside of row 2, and just behind them, Randy Oakham's number 4 car rounds out the top 5.
Then you'll have Jeremy Watkins will start 6th. Joshua King, he will start 7th, as these guys actually start to grid off right about now. And then Rory Blum will start in the 8th position. Matt Cucker starts 9th, and then Gabe Wood will start shotgun on the field.
Championship coming into tonight is a tight one. However, notably, Jeremy Adams comes into tonight with a 6-point advantage over Matt Cucker. Well, Matt Cucker is set to roll off in the number 9 position. And for Jeremy Adams, not currently in the field for this race. There is a second one later on, but that could be kind of what determines this scene. Also, as it has been all season long, when we get to that second street stock race later on this evening, as Chris had mentioned, when the sun goes down and the lights come on, it will be an invert of an X amount of positions compared to the finishing results here. So we definitely look forward to that one. But a quick 20-lap sprint to open up week number 19. The pace car is going to make the sharp left-hand turn down to the safety of the pit lane right there. DJ Beverly in control. Isn't able to control the restart necessarily. You got to wait until they come out of the restart box, and we will start on the drop of the American Ethanol green flag. As always, so happy that you're spending a Wednesday night with us at LSRTV in iRacing Live. Straight stocks off and away in the 30. Did not get going at all. Will Dravicki going to go 2nd to 7th in one corner with an atrocious get-go.
It almost looked like I don't know what was going on, but he just ran into the guys on the inside as well. It just seemed like nothing was going right with him on this start, but this is a really bad start for him. Started outside pole, and now he's second to last, and I don't know what the heck happened there, but obviously not very good as the guys in front of him. Gabe Wood, I think, gets into the 20 or 72 of Rory Blum there on the outside.
I think we expected the car up on the outside of the racetrack, Chris, to not get as good of a jump, even though, DJ Beverly doesn't get much of an upper hand on the start of the race as opposed to on a restart where he can control things a little bit more. But, that was just really, really bad. As Cooper mentioned, he's fallen all the way back down to what amounts to P9 at the moment, and he's gotten back up to speed. Is fighting with Rory Blum, Gabe Wood for a battle for 7th to 9th position, but it's not going to be easy to make up those 2 seconds that he lost.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be an easy task, especially with the short 20-lap feature here for these street stocks. He's definitely going to have a lot to do. Meanwhile, DJ Beverly up front, like you mentioned, didn't really get that big of an upper hand over Jody Green, but he's doing his best to keep out in front of him, and he's doing just that, starting to actually pull away from that 13 machine now as we see Matt Cucker round his way around Randy Yoakum and now has his sights set on that 13 of Jody Green. So the 69 Matt Cucker making up his way up through the field pretty quickly here, Evan.
And that's exactly what you expect. It added the 69 to camp already in the back bumper of Jody Green as he wants to shake things up front. It had been a Jody Green challenge on Beverly the last couple of laps, but a Cucker on the inside as we go side by side for P2, just past quarter distance, working lap 6 of 20. And that 30 car is doing it, rather the 13 car, I should say, of Green, doing a good job topside of not letting Matt Cocker get his way, but he does pull a half a car length advantage off the corner. And if Beverly leaves the inside open, watch for Cocker to just go right to the inside, and there he goes, challenging for the race lead, and in the blink of an eye, he's got it at a quarter number 2.
You say challenge there, Evan, but there was no challenge in my opinion. Just went down to the bottom, and the 42 left it open, and he decided, well, I'm just going to take it. It has the lead, and it's his right now, and nobody within reach already. He's already got a few car lengths, and it was just badly impressive how much he was able to do there. But at the same time, if you're the 42, they get to go down there and at least shut the door on him. But he left it open, and now not only Cucker is going to be there, but the number 13 of Jody Green's going to be on his inside too, while Matt Cucker just starts just sailing away. He's already over half a second away.
Just like that, 9th to 1st, Cucker in front before we even get halfway. The fight that was for the race lead is now for 2nd. Still a good one with Jody Green trying to, and looks like finally breaking through on the inside of Beverly to take away 2nd. The 42 very aggressive, though, keeping a nose at the outside. Do we go 3 wide? Dustin Turnage thought about it for a minute, still thinking about it, but as Green cuts down, he'll have to settle for 3rd. Both of them get it around DJ Beverly, who looks to the inside in 3, thinks better of it, and then all of that falls to P4.
Yeah, really dropped there as Dustin Turnage was lurking behind him for a little bit. Now he's going to be on the back bumper of the 13 of Jody Green, making his way all the way back up, or through the field, I should say, pretty nicely here. He's got his car hooked up, as you can see, running on board with the 13 of Jody Green as the one makes a move to the inside and turns the 13, but he's going to be able to keep no caution. Going to be out here for the first one of the night here.
A tough break for Jody Green. We'll take a second look at a moment on the LSRTV replay. We had seen that one at Turnage make a pretty quick move to get up to that position. And as you take a second look, it was a very late move into the inside of the racetrack. He had room, though, but the 13 didn't give him much extra. And as you can see right there, there's not many ways that one could avoid that contact. That inside wall is right there, and the 13 gets sideways, and as he slides around, gets tagged with the 42, and that's really where things get chaotic, and it goes from a 1 or 2 car accident to picking up 4 or 5.
Yeah, the 13 of Jody Green tried to do his best to get off of everybody. We'll get a second view right here. I think we're going to follow Rory Blum right here and see what he has to see what's going through his windshield. But when he gets into this thing, everything's already just completely developed, and he just has to kind of stay where he's at. So he sees all this action happen in front of him, and he's able to kind of go in the middle and miss a lot of it, but he still gets hit from behind. So yeah, just unfortunate overall.
Thought for a minute there, some daylight didn't work, and cars are going to catch back up to the pace car now. Under yellow flag conditions, no need for drivers to come down to the pit lane and be serviced. Obviously, though, if you were involved in the accident, you want to come down and get that car fixed up. But it is going to be Cucker, Turnage, King, Blum, Watkins, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. As drivers select which lane on the restart they want. Notable to point out, Cucker took the outside line, the one car at Turnage taking the inside. So the 69 up top will be in control for the restart, due up with 6 laps to go.
Yeah, and if I was Cucker, I'd be kind of worried about the one machine. He was almost getting there. He was making his way up through the field. Now he's going to have the inside line as we get ready to start this one up here, Evan. So maybe the one of Dustin Turnage has something for Matt Cucker.
Find out. It could very well be the final restart on the night. Turnage has been up front all race long, started second, runs there at the moment. Let's see if he's got anything for Matt Cucker, who's looking to take over the straight stock points lead in the final points races of the season. Green flag in the air, fantastic jump for the guys in the front row. They blow third, fourth on back out of the water, but the challenge for the race lead in favor of Matt Cucker.
Yeah, no one even close to these guys. I mean, they're well over a second over these guys behind them. And you're watching the 90 of Jeremy Watkins on the inside right now. But that battle for the lead is kind of still there. But Matt Cucker actually has a challenge on the inside, as you see. Number 1 goes to the very bottom of the track, and he's able to get a nose, but won't be able to get the push off the corner. So that's going to the 69 of Matt Cucker. And so number 1 is going to keep trying to the bottom, and Cucker's going to keep being there, but Turnage is really kind of put on the wick here in the last couple laps, or the last lap or so, and he's right there, and he's not letting Cucker go, and I have a good feeling he's gonna try and do something here. Turnage does not look like he's going to back down.
On the 69, a big slide. What a save by Matt Cucker. Keeps it out of the fence. But here goes Turnage to the inside of the racetrack and side by side for the race lead with just 3 laps to go for Myrtle Beach. And Cucker somehow defends topside. Dustin Turnage going nowhere. He's going to tag him. He gets into Matt Cucker, looses him up, and Turnage to the race lead.
Yeah, and that was only a matter of time before that happened there, Evan. He was almost making contact for a while. Now you can see him out the back of that one machine of Dustin Turnage. Cooker's going to have to do a lot of work to get back up side by side between the 35 of Joshua King and the 42 of DJ Beverly. That's going to be your closest side-by-side battle, but they're 2 by 2 by 2 as Matt Cooker's still getting loose out of the corner on corner number 2, trying to fight that car's handling.
Well, daytime conditions as we come to the white flag. Not a lot of grip as the sun beats down on the hot Myrtle Beach Speedway asphalt, and it is the final lap for Dustin Turnage. You can see the gap while on board with Matt Cucker. Going to be quite the challenge to catch up to him, and I think without the one machine to make it a mistake, it is going to be Dustin Turnage. He really turned up the wick, though, as we said, off of that 6 lap to go restart. He used the nose to get there, but an impressive run for Dustin Turnage. Checkers, and your winner in the straight stocks for the first race tonight from Myrtle Beach.
Yeah, and I don't know if you'll feel too good about the move you did on Matt Cucker to win that race, but in the end, he did move Matt out of the way. Matt was able to save it, and after this one's over, I mean, who cares who's second? Dustin Turnage won the race.
Again, he had a couple of opportunities, Chris, got to the bumper, and it looked like when he got into him, it didn't look like he actually went in looking for him, but they were just so tight. There were a couple of turns before that where I think the one did want to loosen him up a little bit, and I'm sure he tagged him a little bit too hard, but at the end of the day, if you can loosen somebody up, not wreck them, and get the race lead, I guess that's the entire point of the bump and run.
Yeah, and he really used it very effectively. Just got him the slightest bit of contact into that left rear and just kind of sent Matt Cucker sideways. Didn't really turn him. Matt Cucker had to really use Dustin Turnage to straighten himself back out. But that's just short track racing, Evan, and Dustin Turnage used it very, very effectively, and that's why he's the one sitting in victory lane.
It was an impressive save. We'll see if we can get a post-race reaction from those drivers in just a moment. First, let's take a look at how they came home at your LSRTV full race results for tonight's straight stock feature race number 1. Dustin Turnage started in second position. He is your race winner tonight for Myrtle Beach. It is Matt Cucker ends up coming on 1.22 seconds behind in the number 2 position. Rory Blum ends up 3rd position. Joshua King is 4th, and Pulsar DJ Beverly rounds out your top 5.
And then finishing 6th is going to be Jeremy Watkins. Finishing 7th is Gabe Wood. He got a few positions. And then Jody Green, he was able to salvage 8th place. And Will Dravicki finishes 9th with Randy Yoakum finishing in 10th.
So that's a look top to bottom at your full race results. Let's step downstairs and see if we can get word with the driver of the number 1 machine. Dustin, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, congratulations on the win in the straight stocks. It looked like until we got that one and only caution flag that this race was going to be, to an extent, I would say, uneventful. Matt Cucker charged from 9th to 1st and looked like he was going to run away with this thing. And off of that restart, you kept him honest and stuck right with him. Tell us about the speed in that car.
Well, I gotta thank everybody at Vince here. I gotta thank Matt, CP, and Jeremy. They really helped me out, and I mean they helped me with the setups and everything. It's their setup, and if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be near as fast as I was, be able to compete with them.
Obviously, when you put up a great battle with him, I guess I should say, first right off with the restart, both of you guys in the front row absolutely took off and set sail, and then you tuck in a lot of behind him, knowing that there wasn't many laps left to go at that point. Did you kind of think that it was going to have to come down to a bump and run, and how'd you try to set that up before you guys eventually got together?
Well, I didn't even mean to bump and run him. There was 2 tire widths between me and him, and we net coded. I didn't even get any incident points for it or nothing. I didn't mean to do that. I don't like to race that way. I tried to straighten him out as best I could, but I mean, it's one of those things.
It's a win nonetheless for you in these street stocks, and just to know, especially with the team helping you out, that Matt has been so good in these cars all year, and I believe as well takes the lead in the championship in this division, courtesy of his 2nd place result. Does that make this win feel a little bit better, knowing that you did it against the guy who's been pretty untouchable, maybe is the word, in these cars this year?
Yeah, I mean, this is my 4th time in the car. I'm pretty happy that I can keep up with them. I can keep up with them early on in the race. They save their tires a little bit better than I do. And the past 3 races, him and Jeremy, they start to pull away from me there when the laps start to wind down. But yeah, it's nice knowing that I have some pretty decent speed in these cars.
Well, that last restart gave you the opportunity to race hard for it. You get the win in the straight stocks. You're in victory lane. Anybody you want to say hi to while we got you?
No, nobody in particular.
Let you take off. Then play your racing still to come tonight, Dustin. We appreciate your time, though. Congratulations once more, and hopefully we'll do this again sometime down the road. Best of luck tonight.
Thank you. You too.
That is your race winner to open up tonight. It is Dustin Turnage in the street stocks with the win. Matt Tucker has to settle for the 2nd place. We'll take this opportunity to step aside. When we come back, the Chargers going to be on track for their last race of the season. Matt Cucker and Rafe Slate won in them 1 week ago. We will see who wraps out the season at a victory lane for them next. Still 5 races to go. Stay tuned and don't miss a thing. You're watching LSRTV's continuing coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series presented by the Championship Esports Association on your home for sim racing and iRacing Live.
I'm driving the number 20 JGR Toyota Xfinity car this weekend. Really great opportunity here at New Hampshire at my home track. Over the past 2 weeks, I've been on iRacing, practicing a little bit here and there with the modified and the NASCAR Xfinity car, so it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great tool for me to kind of get used to that stock car body again and be prepared for the race today. Well, yeah, it's a mile long, so the draft kind of plays into effect here with the modifieds. Punches a big hole in the air, and we run restrictor plates. So it makes a big difference. Just really fast, and it's our Daytona. So that's what's great about it, and we have a fast car for tomorrow. I think the biggest thing is they're heavier cars. The tire's a lot different. And the way you go about setting them up is a lot different. They use all 4 tires more than a modified, where we typically drive off the right rear, you know, so. Well, actually, it's funny. I raced NASCAR race in 2003 before iRacing came about. And then when iRacing came about, my friend Kevin Iannarelli, who works at iRacing, kind of told me, hey, man, you need to switch over to this. And And when I did, I was like, oh my God, this is like real life. So I started using it as a tool of mine to really prepare for modified races, whether it was Stafford or Thompson or Loudon, Bristol, and then obviously the Xfinity Series last year, going to road courses, trying to get laps, and use it as a tool that can get me as prepared as I could be without actually doing it. So it's been great.
Racing, you wanted the best, you got them four abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back live to the Myrtle Beach Speedway as week number 19, the weekly series finale of this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series continues. As always, brought to you by our friends at the Championship Esports Association. Dustin Turnage kicked off the night with a win in the Street Stocks. The Chargers division is up next. They were our double feature just 1 week ago, and they're going to go racing here tonight with 10 laps as the second race for them of the season. And Coop, as we come into tonight in this Chargers division, pretty comfortably in front is Matt Cocker, 10 wins to his name. He and Christian Peterson, the only drivers to have 10 wins in any given division. Peterson's got 10 in the Super Trucks that we will see a little bit later on tonight. So Cocker could break that tie, get number 11, but he's 46 up at a point. So he's just looking to kind of wrap this one out here tonight in a short 10-lapper.
Yeah, it'll be a short race. We've got a few drivers that are going to have some fun and basically have a really kind of a good end to this season for the Chargers, but it's basically locked up for Matt Cocker. Has been, I think, for a little bit. And for these guys, it'll just be another fun race for them.
Obviously, the best thing about these Chargers division is, Chris, you thought that last race had a lot of slipping and sliding. This one will definitely be pretty similar.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference, but not a whole lot in handling, because with the weight with these cars, it's definitely going to provide some handling issues. So 10 laps will definitely provide enough action for these guys to at least see some of that slipping and sliding, and maybe some even bumping as we get ready to roll off the grid here.
Take a look to see how the rack and stack. We go trackside to take a look at your LSRTV starting grid. And how about Dustin Turnage? He will also start on pole position for the Chargers race. Just got a win. Looking for number 2 on the night. He'll bring us to the green flag this evening. He's accompanied on the front row by the guy who knows a thing or two about these cars, the 69 of Matt Cocker. Then you look back at number 2. It'll be the 30 of Will Jervicki to the inside in third, and to the outside, Gabe Wood in the double O. Will roll off in fourth position. That's how the Chargers division finale will line up tonight. Obviously, the championship very much in hand. The likes of Matt Cocker and gaps between second and third not going to change. So this one really just a formality to see if Matt Cocker can get one number 11 to Coop. Other than that, as you noted, this championship's been done for, I think, 2-3 weeks now.
Well, he's got a 1 in 4 chance of doing it right now. He's got Turnage, who did get into him earlier. Maybe Matt has a little bit of fun with him, later on in this race as well. We'll have to see, but he's got 2 drivers behind him too, Jervicki and Wood. That, hey, these guys can learn a lot from just running some laps here with Cocker and Turnage here. That may not be able to do that in a regular race. So I think this will be really fun to watch, and you're going to see Gabe Wood just absolutely smack into the 69 of Matt Cocker. So a little maybe pre-congratulatory bump there.
See what it ends up being, and hopefully maybe Dustin Turnage is able to put up a fight and upset Matt Cocker in a final Chargers division race of the year. It's only 10 laps. You got to get up on the gas and go. Green flag in the air.
Yeah, look at Matt Cucker get a great start on the outside. Holy cow, this outside is bumping. Look at it. Both the 000 and the 69 of Matt Cucker are going, and Turnage did not get going at all, and neither did Dravicki in that case. So 1 lap in the books, and the outside lane prevailing.
Yeah, well, and we always see when somebody has an opportunity to choose which lane they want on the restart, they go up top, so I don't think it's shocking that Matt Cucker likes the outside. Gabe Wood, you saw there way high in turn number 2, and he lost some significant time, but I feel like the outside being so good was a combination of, well, Matt Cucker's very fast, and maybe Turnage was a little bit too easy going through the corner, and because of that, he now has already what is a 0.6 of a second gap over Wood. Turnage fell to 3rd, and I think that Will Dravicki is going to have something to say about it, those back 2 cars as we follow him to turn number 3. Tightest fun on the racetrack right now, and as you go on board with Dravicki, continues to take peeks to the inside, tries to get there here, doesn't have the speed. We'll see if he drives it into 1. No, the 1 will shut the door.
Yeah, it's a great onboard camera by our producer, Cisco Scar, moves it there. As you see the 000 get loose off of 2, so that's going to move him back behind Dustin Turnage, and even Will Dravicki, as Dravicki looks to get clear on the outside coming out of 4, but it's not going to happen, and it will. Dravicki will clear him coming out of the corner.
Gabe Wood, second bit of mistake, and even for somebody like a Matt Cucker, who we don't expect to see those kind of mistakes out of, was real sideways at a turn number 4, and all of a sudden, we have a race on our hands. Dravicki into the outside wall. He will spin, and hard contact with the bottom. He's all by himself, so far, yellow flag is not out, and that car is going to go behind the wall. We will stay green, and just like that, his nut is done. Meanwhile, we're still fighting for the race lead. Turnage has got a second shot at this, but he's allowed Cucker to get to the inside of him.
Opposite of what just happened in the last race. Cucker's now on the bottom of the number 1 of Dustin Turnage, and I think Matt's going to show him how it's done to get it done on the bottom side in the clean way. So yeah, Matt Cucker is almost completely clear of Dustin right here, but Dustin's going to keep pushing a fight. But I bet you Dustin tries the exact same thing he did last time and try to get to the bottom, which Dustin really liked. But here comes Gabe Wood to the bottom here in turn number 1. Dustin's going to take him all the way there, right to the bottom.
A lot of slipping and sliding. Gabe Woods had a couple of issues tonight. You can see there, really sideways again. Good job by the 1 at Turnage to hold his ground up top. Tucks back in line, Chris. 2 laps to go this time, though. Unless we see a second mistake from Cucker, I think those 4 car lengths going to be a bit too much.
Yeah, Dustin Turnage and Gabe Wood have been fighting the handling. Matt Cucker even fighting the handling at one point here, Evan, but Matt Cucker being in the right place at the right time to take the lead back from the 1 machine will come out of 4 as the white flag's in the air this time by.
Final lap for Matt Cucker. He is running on lap 10 of 10. And the gap looks like it is going to remain in front of Turnage, who is going to have to deal with Gabe Wood here, probably in the back. But Matt Cucker, he'd be the first driver all season to get 11 in a single division. One last slide for good measure, but the checkered flag and the win, the 11th, a record-setting 11th divisional win for Matt Cucker.
Yeah, it's no surprise that he was able to do that and slow it down, and was able to let the rest of the field catch up and then get right back at him again. He's got a lot of talent in these cars, and for him to be in these cars and to win just about every time he gets here, even when it's not the Championship Esports Association. I mean, he won the last race in this car whenever the Upstate Racing League came here. So not a surprise.
It's almost like Chris, he knows a thing or two about what he's doing, and for as dominant as he has been, it's been a thing that we've asked him many a times at Victor Relane is, how is it that in probably the most open division with how these cars drive, how is it that that's the division you're so good in? And that big bobble from him was kind of an out-of-character mistake. He still got the win, but just goes to show you that even though for 11 wins, it's never a walk in the park.
Especially with these cars, Evan, we alluded to it at the beginning of this race, it's going to be a handful, and I think with 4 cars on the track, it really stood out a little bit more. You got to see everything in more of a controlled environment and just see how hard it is to control these cars around here. But Matt Cucker, I've said this before, I'll say it again, one of the best short track racers I've seen on the sim. Definitely knows a thing or two about this racetrack and these cars.
We'll have an opportunity to ask him about that slot in a minute. First, as always, here's a look at your results for tonight's Chargers Division main event. Matt Cucker takes the win after starting up in the front row. A very eventful one for Dustin Turnage. At one point, looked like he was going to finish fourth in this after a terrible start. Ended up back in a race lead. He finishes in P2. When it's all said and done, Gabewood ends up third, and Will Trevicki, the top 4 drivers being scored in this division. That's a look through the top 4 and how everybody comes home this one. We now go trackside, though, see if we have an opportunity to chat with Matt Cucker on the radio. And Matt, you got us?
I got you.
We were looking at some of the stats. It's the final points race for a lot of these divisions on the year. So the number was 10 wins in these cars. Coming into tonight, you now have 11, which is the most out of anybody in a single division in this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. And that's got to feel pretty good to kind of end out what was already a guaranteed points win for you guys, putting the heat on these guys the last couple of weeks and kind of made it not mathematically possible, but still never a bad feeling to get a win. And this one kind of up and down when you end up in victory lane.
Oh yeah, I thought we were done there when I got loose off 4. I thought we were going to total it, and luckily I saved it. I thought we were hitting that inside wall pretty hard, but yeah, 11 wins is nice. I mean, it would have been nicer to have 12, but after last week and only getting second place last week, and Rafe picking up the win there, congrats to him on that one. But I mean, hey, we'll take it any way we can get him.
Tell us about that slot. We ask you week to week, how is it that you guys are so good in a car that is so difficult to drive? And in this one, especially after that start of the race, just rocking it out in front. But it was all kinds of sideways. Was it any more treacherous out there maybe this week than last week with a change in track condition or something? Because we saw a lot of guys slotted around even earlier tonight in that street stock race. So we knew we were going to be in for something in these Chargers. And it's not like nobody could keep the car under them.
Yeah, it was. It definitely felt hotter this week. Track time must have been a little bit hotter, so the tires were a little bit greasier. So, I mean, it was a little bit looser. In the street stock, I was just real loose, so there's nothing I could do. And then with these things, it out of nowhere, it just snapped sideways on me, and there was nothing I could do, and except for try to save it. And luckily, I was able to.
Obviously, you guys have been so good in these cars, winning them just 1 week ago, and very much deserve the points championship for them. So we congratulate you on that. And what more opportunity in these cars? The sponsors and the shout-outs from Victor Relay who makes it happen.
I thank Team Vincier again. I analyze Globalcom. Turn 3 Auto Transfer coming on board, and I gotta thank you guys for broadcasting each and every week. It's always awesome to go back and listen to broadcast. And Kyle Barnes with Myrtle Beach Speedway for putting the show on.
We're always appreciative of your time, Matt. Congratulations on the win on the points championship. As always, sir, best of luck going forward, and I'm sure we'll catch you down the line.
Alrighty, thank you guys.
Is your race winner tonight in the Chargers division. So we'll step aside once more when we come back. The Legends are on track. Again, for them, the final points race of the season. You are watching Myrtle Beach Simulation Series presented by the Championship Esports Association on your home for sim racing LSRTV and iRacing Live. And as we welcome you back to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the lights have come on as we enter the night portion of Week 19 of this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. It's the weekly series finale. Last week, we rounded out the points in the late models. We saw Matt Cocker, Brandon Wilkinson take wins in those twin features. Tonight, we've already seen Dustin Turnage win in the street stocks. They will be back in just a couple of races for another 20-lap main event. And then just moments ago, Matt Cocker a win in the Chargers as he secures the Chargers Division of Points Championship. So we head to the Legends. Get set to race for 25 laps. And this is one of the ones that Coop is still kind of up in the air just a little bit. It is a 17-point lead in the championship for Christian Peterson over top of Brandon Wilkinson, though it appears that just like we saw in that first race, the challenger not here tonight, so it should be a walk in the park for the 23 to kind of knock this one out of the park for, say, 2 wins already for Wilkinson on the year. That's to Peterson's 4, which is the most.
Yeah, I will say that Peterson has, the 17-point advantage, which is going to be you're going to have to hope that Peterson wrecks and sits halfway back in the field, and that's not typically what happens with Peterson, so I'd say it would be difficult for him to get it anyways, but it was mathematically at least in the cards, especially with this many drivers joining tonight. It was more than possible, but sadly that's just not how the song is written, and yeah, he's not going to be around to contest for that, so he'll have to sit this one out, and yeah, it basically goes to Christian Peterson once he starts the grid, once he hits lap number 1.
We'll go racing for 25 laps in this one. Cars are sitting on the pit lane behind the iRacing official pace car. Let's take a look at your LSRTV starting grid. A pole position in this one does go to the driver of the number 43. That's Matthew Tucker, who will bring us to the green flag tonight, accompanied with the driver on the outside of the front row, P2. For Randy Yoakum. Paul Henley will start tonight in the 3rd position, accompanied by Blake Nair to the outside from north of the border. Will roll off in 4th position, and Will Dravicki to round out your top 5.
Starting in the 6th position will be David Messier, and then you've got Jody Green starting 7th. 8th place goes to Christian Peterson, and 9th goes to Matt Cucker to start this one, with Tyler Stevens starting 10th.
11th goes to James Crohula. The 00 of Gabe Wood will be 12th. 13th goes to Dustin Turnage. DJ Beverly going to be 14th. Jeremy Watkins 15th. Rory Blum 16th. And rounding out your 17th car field, the 54 of Jeff Grayson.
Looks like Grayson not on track for the start here, so if he does make it to the green, he will have to start from his pit box, but that's a look top to bottom, 1 through 17 at your LSRTV starting grid. And just mentioned it a little bit ago, Coop, 25 laps in these Legends cars, which is the distance that we've been seeing with them pretty much every week that we've had them on the calendar over the course of, the season, and what you expect to see. Issues, though, with Turnage, the one car spinning out coming off of the pit lane. Got a view of that. That was Turnage who went around. I don't know if he got into the inside wall or what, but he definitely spun it. And looks like he will still get back up into position for the start, though.
Yeah, it looks like he just had a little oopsie daisy, and should be all right here as they're on the back straightaway. And I think the car still looks fine. I mean, these things can take a huge beating, but I think it'll be fine.
See how this one plays out. If he's got any damage, that's not going to help him much out, as he's scheduled to start way back in 13th position. And you can see him in the back as the field rounds out of quarter number 4, looking for the green flag as we go racing for the final time this year in the Legends cars. And Tucker will lead to turn 1.
Yeah, side by side, just all these drivers bundled up, and I think that's one thing we like about these drivers, that they do that. But look at the 14 of Blake Neer, started in the 3rd position. Look at him already to the outside of this lead and looking to get it right here. And see him get really close to the outside wall. The 43 of Tucker's going to keep it right now for now. And oh my goodness, there's a car on the Speedway right there, the entrance of the corner. I don't know if that's supposed to happen, but either way, looks like the 14 is going to be able to get ahead just a little bit, and he's going to be able to get the lead right here.
Takes over the race lead, just 2 laps in, and Blake Neer going to go to the front of the field. That car you saw parked on the pit road exit was the number 4 of Randy Yoakum. That car no longer there, you see, as the field goes by. He did not make it to the completion of lap number 1, and then began to roll out of his pit stall, and to a stop. So he's not officially retired from this race yet, but I think after missing the start, he's just going to call it quits there. It would mean that he would finish in 16th position. Meanwhile, starting to see everybody single file things out as they all chase that 14 machine of Near, who is out in front.
Yeah, Blake Neer in that 14 machine has really come out rolling, and he's really put himself out in front of Matthew Tucker. But meanwhile, just behind Tucker, look who's behind him. Started 8th and making his way up to 3rd here, Evan. That's the 23 of Christian Peterson. You see him right on the back bumper, riding now on board inside the car of Christian Peterson as he makes his way towards the inside, going into 3, but not going to be able to make it quite work as they're going to be even, almost even, out of turn 4.
Side by side, drag race to the line, advantage to Tucker, I believe, on the outside by just 3/100ths of a second, but Peterson now clears to the inside. They single file up at a 2, and Christian Peterson continues to charge to the front. As we noted, championship leader coming into tonight, 4 wins on the season for him in these cars. And looking to get a 5th as he closes in on Near, and he's been able to get up to P2 from 8th position so fast as you run on board. And take a look at his view of the back end of the 14 machine just in front of him. Peterson got 8th to 2nd so quickly, Coop, that he's got now still 18 laps to get that last spot, so he doesn't have to force the issue here. He can take his time and set it up right, but and 14's getting bigger and bigger every single time by. That move's probably going to come sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I'll say that, you know, Peterson basically wants to win this race, not because he has to, but because, you know, basically anytime you can win one of these races, you got to go for it. There's a lot of drivers who say that it's very, very difficult in this series to get a win, and it is, as you see him complete the pass on the 14 on the inside there at turn 3 and 4. But it's fairly difficult to get a win in these divisions. But for these guys that are on the top, they're able to do it quite frequently, and I think even they are always saying, you know, there might be that time when they aren't going to able to get to victory lane as easily, and they want to get to there as much as possible now.
Seen it a challenge. There's other fights coming out along the racetrack as you take a look at a side-by-side fight right now. The battle for 4th position, and up the inside of the racetrack, Tuckers is going to get it. He jumps from 4th to 3rd. That bright red 43 that you're right on board with is Matthew Tucker, who falls to 4th again after starting this race in pole position. So even behind them, a fight as well, side by side between Gabe Wood and DJ Beverly. That's for 6th and 7th, and Wood through on the inside. So get to the bottom. Pretty good passing lane so far tonight.
Yeah, if you can get on that inside, especially with these cars, because these legend cars can get up and move around here, going upwards of 100 miles an hour around this place. There's contact between the 43 and the 16 of Paul Henley. The 43 still hasn't got it, and he's going to spin right in front of Gabe Wood across the start-finish line. Big wreck on the front stretch.
That'll be a yellow, as you would expect. Tucker was in his side-by-side fight, the 16 machine. Instead of making the dive down to the inside of the racetrack, go into the quarter, he did it about halfway through. He picked this up, coming out of turn 2. Watch for the 43 machine, gets sideways, loses a lot of speed, and Tucker's got the run, but he doesn't make the move there. He cuts down center of the corner, and it's just not a lane there. Loosens the 43 up, and at that point, I don't think Tucker ever fully regained control. He's slowing for the field, and right there, Gabe Wood gets collected, and they go around at the start-finish line.
That's a hard place to put if you're Gabe Wood, too, because you see a car in front of you and think you go to the bottom, and then the 43 goes to, I don't know, to block or just to keep trying to catch the car or whatnot. But it was really hard. Everyone was starting to get to him, and by the time you recognize what exactly is going on, you try and just get out of the way. And the 00 of Gabe Wood just, I think one of those deals where it's bad luck for him once again, you know, wrong place, wrong time. But the 13, that's a good view of exactly where he was sitting. You just nowhere to go, really, especially for Jody right there. But Jody gets a lot of damage, and oh man, he gets on 2 wheels right there.
First yellow of the night, big incident just past the halfway point in this one. We'll hit the reset button. Restart will probably come right in or around at lap number 10. We're pacing on lap number 14 now. Look to see own car is out on the front straightaway, so we will select which lanes we want here, and we will go back green at 10 to go next time around.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see where Peterson chooses his line. Of course, making his way up to the field pretty quickly and got around Blake Neer. Neer really needed this restart because Peterson had really pulled on him, but interesting lane choice by the 23 and the 14. The 14 going to give up that outside lane and go down towards the bottom. So maybe that 14 of Neer likes his chances better on the top, but that 42 machine of DJ Beverly going to be accompanied by Christian Peterson on the front row.
So the top two cars choose the bottom, so it is going to be, as you see, Peterson and then the 14. They were 1-2, so that car outside of the front row, the 42 car, DJ Beverly, technically third, but he's the first driver to restart outside. So to put somebody outside of the front row, 23 can go what he wants. He takes off, green flag in the air, and the inside call, a bad one for Blake Neer, as DJ Beverly ends up P2 rather safely.
Yeah, the first three cars kind of just out where they need to be. DJ Beverly in a nice solid position. Then you've got Dravicki and Paul Henley switching places there for a moment. They're side by side in the corner. A little bit of bumping right there in the corner. Sends the 16 up the hill just a little bit. And as these guys come out of turn number 4, still side by side for most of them.
See the onboard shot with Henley as he tries to catch up to Dravicki in front of him, and 14 machine in front of Dravicki loses a little bit of time with a 2 as well, so it could become 3-car battle.
Oh, car on the back wall.
Cars in frame and problems at the back.
Yeah, sounds like maybe Royer Blum got some damage there, but looks like he's doing fine now. But yeah, he hit the outside wall.
Went all the way around, got into the outside wall, split it, and saved it. It happened so quickly, I don't even know if race control saw what was going on, so no problems as we stay green, other than the fact that it's going to cost him some positions. He falls to 13th and last on the lead lap. Single file there throughout, though. Looking at one of the only battles on track right now as the challenge comes on the inside by the 1 car of Turnage, trying to get around Jeremy Watkins for 7th. Cannot clear him, and it will go side by side for 3rd.
Yeah, going side by side down in the corner. It looks like Turnage will have him coming out of this now. Krahula looked like he was going to be able to make the move on Jeremy Watkins as well and follow through, but it looks like that legend car got a little bit out of shape coming out of 4, so he's going to have to retry it again, but clear Dustin Turnage in that 1 machine, so Dustin Turnage going to have his sights set on that 13 machine as now I look to see Krahula make that run again at that 90 machine.
Obviously continue to work their way up to the field, but laps are running sparse inside of 5 laps to go. 1 car's out in front of the fight now. As you look all the way back up front at the battle for the race lead, Beverly catching up to Christian Peterson, only a car length off this time, but at turn number 4. Out of it, 4 laps left to go. Does this one come down to the chrome horn as well?
Hard to say. I mean, the 23 keeps, or the 42 keeps hitting those bumps on the bottom, and that might not help him out if he gets too many of them. He's only got a few laps, though, but DJ Beverly is getting into the picture. I mean, he's taking a little bit too much, but at this point, I mean, this is basically the last start he's got, so he's going to have to try and do his best to stay off those curblets if he wants to, but I think he actually kind of likes rolling over him a little bit. It kind of gives him a little bit of turning, but Peterson's still just a hair of a section or a second away from him.
And when we were on board with Beverly, you saw when he got onto those curbs, he got sideways, and it just cost him a lot of time because it basically killed all the speed he would have been bringing off of the corner down the entire back straightaway. He's been able to probably stay even with Peterson since then, but brought on the nose of that 42. The gap is substantially bigger, and just matching to Peterson in times isn't going to be enough to catch up to him. White flag in the air from Myrtle Beach Speedway for Christian Peterson. Out in front of the field, already has now at this point the point championship for the Legends locked up, and he's also going to do that with a staple at the end of it all and make kind of an exclamation point, if you will, to end out the season with his 5th Legends Division Winner of the Year. Christian Peterson goes +7 and takes the win from week 19.
And what a run by that 23 machine to go from 8th to 1st, but cannot discount what DJ Beverly did here tonight. 14th to 2nd here, Evan. So both of those drivers in the top 2 having to climb their way up to the field, and they did it successfully, and it was a really, really good race. But just getting on those little curbs can kill your run so easily, and that is definitely what held DJ Beverly back, because he was there.
I tell you what, Coop, people don't think of finessing a car around the corner elegantly as something that you would associate with short track racing. But I mean, you had to see those guys as they were wheeling it coming off of the corner, how gentle you had to be, and that very small mistake that we saw at Beverly is probably what cost him a shot at really giving Peterson a run for his money late.
And I think one thing about the Peterson that's always hard to beat is the fact that even if you do get up to him, even if you do get to the inside, I mean, he still finds ways to keep you behind him. That's really difficult. So I think he definitely earned this one. Did a big donut just there in the corner, and he'll park at victory lane for the final time in these cars.
Obviously, a celebration of both the win and the points championship in these cars for Peterson. We'll get to post-race reaction from him. First, a look top to bottom at your LSRTV full race results as we're now halfway through week 19 of this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. Peterson gets the win. Again, impressive runs for he going 8th to 1st, and for Beverly going to 14th to 2nd as they come home 1-2 tonight. 3rd position at all of this one as well. Got Will Dravicki 4th, and Jody Greed rounds out your top 5.
Finishing out in the 6th position will be Paul Henley, and then Dustin Turnage goes from 13th to 7th. James Grohula finishes in the 8th position. 9th finishes Jeremy Watkins, starting from the 15th position, and Tyler Stevens, he finished where he started in 10th.
Gabe Wood finishes out in 11th after having contact from that wreck. David Messier is going to be 12th. 13th goes Roy Brum. 14th Matt Cucker. 15th Randy Yoakum. And 16th will go to Matthew Tucker.
So that's a look at how they came home top to bottom tonight. We go trackside with the driver of the number 23 machine. Christian, congratulations on the win. Couple of close battles there, especially late as, you had a pretty aggressive challenge off of the back end there in those final couple of laps, but you hang on for your 5th win in these cars of the year.
Yeah. First off, I just want to thank everybody at Vincier, everybody that put in work on this setup over the season. I know Cucker came in a little late there with these cars, and then Dustin, and they had a little bit to say about it, and it made me a little bit quicker there at the end. So got to thank those guys, all that, and just Kyle for putting it on. But yeah, DJ there at the end of the race was definitely the hard charging. I mean, I think that was the fastest I've seen him all year or all season in this. I actually thought it was the 43 because I'd been used to him being like an all red car up front. DJ, I don't remember what his other paint scheme was, but he was all red tonight, and that kind of spooked me there with a couple laps to go when I realized who it was, and then I was like, oh boy, that's different. So yeah, hats off to him. That was a good race there, and I think when I hit the curbs, I don't know if it made him hit the curbs, but that gained me a little bit, and then I was able to pull away.
We were on board with him when he got the curbs there with about 5 or 4 laps to go. It cost him some time, and he wasn't able to catch back up. But from that point, you guys are also going to be able to round out this season in impressive fashion and secure the points championship. But officially for these Legends cars, not only is, the 5 win stat impressive, but in all 10 of your starts now, you guys finish inside of the top 5. So even on the weeks where it might not be the trophy at the end of the night, consistency week to week allows you to come into tonight with that 17-point advantage and hang on to get the win overall over Wilkinson.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, week after week, I know, with this series, you only get to talk to us if we get in victory lane, but it's just consistency, man. I mean, yeah, you get the W's, but if you don't if you don't finish in the top 5 or top 10. Depending on how many cars are in the field every week, that guy who wins that race but finishes 5th every week is going to, get it done, or wins, a couple races is going to get it done. So if you can do both, win and keep it in the top 5 or top 10, I think that's the best combo. But yeah, I don't know. We're just going to try to keep that going.
Well, obviously, still a couple of weeks here left to go with some special events here and there, but the final race for you guys in these Legends cars with the points on the line, and you do exactly as we would expect. You guys are at victory lane, and again, should be able to secure up, but officially, obviously, that points championship. So we will continue on with the rest of the program tonight, but as always, the sponsors and the shout-outs. Who makes it happen for you?
Just everybody at Vincier, everybody at Six Man, I Analyze. We got Austin Designs, or Scott Austin at Austin Designs. He came on board for onto Vincier, so we're looking forward to having him work with us and repping his paint schemes, his good work. So look forward to seeing those on some of our cars, and then yeah, I think that's about it.
We look forward to seeing how that evolves as the series rolls on. As always, though, Christian, we appreciate the time. Congratulations on the win and the points title. And still, again, some racing tonight. I think we've got 2 weeks after this as well with some special events. So best of luck for the rest of the night, rest of the year. Hopefully we'll chat soon.
All right, thanks, Evan.
Race winner tonight, as noted, in the Legends car. So we'll step aside as we reach the halfway point in tonight's coverage. When we come back, the main event, though, is up on deck. It is a 75-lap Super Truck feature as well, sticking with the theme, their final points race of the 2018 season. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series presented by the Championship Esports Association on your home for sim racing and iRacing Live.
I actually, really enjoy dirt racing. Feels good to get in the car, and we have, great cars and engines and things at KKR, so it's nice to drive a fast sprint car.
Couple of separate lines developing. 3 wide action on a turn 2. Craig Kinzer, Casey Kane, and Kieran Pittman going to get it.
I think the differences between, NASCAR and the sprint races on dirt is just a much different mindset. The way you drive your cars, the setup, the feel you're looking for. I think one of the hardest things to tell as a fan is when you're watching a race, whether it's a NASCAR race, a dirt race, is just what's really going on in the car. With iRacing, you can get the way that the track's changing, which they've done a great job in how the track changes throughout the night or throughout the race, just to try to capture it and let the fans play it and realize, like, man, there's actually a lot going on, and you can't always see that when you watch a race. So I think it's pretty neat. It's, enjoyable for me, but at the end of the day, it's actually much of a simulation, and there's a lot of ways that you can learn from that. And, early on, it was neat to look at the Cup tracks that I was going to, places that I had never been. So I think it kind of gives you a head start leading into a weekend. It's pretty real life, and that's pretty neat.
And welcome back live to the Myrtle Beach Speedway. 3 races down, still 3 to go. As always, coverage of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series is brought to you by Joel Real Timing, the official timing software of LSRTV. Whether you spend your time on the sim from behind the wheel, on top of the pit box, or the spotter stand, Joel Real Timing is your go-to software for iRacing timing and scoring analytics. You can get yourself the basic download or get the full pro version online by going to www.joel-real-timing.com for more information. Longest race of the night, 75 laps in the Super Truck division. The biggest cars, and as well, the biggest points difference in the championship. Coming into tonight, Christian Peterson 100 flat on top of Ricky Harden. Not much up for grabs, Coop, as far as the overall points, but a race win still on the line. Peterson just saw Matt Cucker get an 11th Chargers Division win of the year. He's looking for his 11th Super Trucks win of the year here right now.
Yeah, I think it's, I don't know if it's a topic of conversation for them, but I think it'd be interesting if he could get it. But, I think for a lot of the other guys, as every week goes, you don't race to finish second typically. So a lot of guys out here that are trying to win the race, of course. That's what you're here for. I think we might see at least a few guys. We've seen some guys tonight that have really stepped up their game, which is really interesting to see, because if we had seen that a lot during the season from some guys, they might have been closer in the points. Now for this series in particular, I don't know if that would be the case, but nevertheless, this has been a series that Christian Peterson's been really dominant in.
And the invert for the starting grid is going to be the top 9. So first on the grid was 9th best. 9th on the grid was first, and then 10th, 11th on the back is in their corresponding position. So with all of that in mind, let's take a look at how the lineup for this one. I believe it is going to be outside row James Krahula to be the first driver in the trucks for P2. Matthew Tucker will start tonight in 3rd, with Earl Javicki in 4th, and DJ Beverly rounding through the top 5.
And then starting in the 6th position is going to be Gabe Wood. Starting 8th is Jody Green. You've got Christian Peterson starting in the 8th position. Randy Yoakum starts 9th, and then Joshua King should start in the 10th position, with the remaining guys being Jeremy Watkins and Rory Blum.
That's how they line up top to bottom as you see the field roll out. So Will Trevicki is going to get, not Will Trevicki, Matthew Tucker, sorry, is going to get a little bit of a gift here, because he should, I believe, Chris, for the absence of a car actually being gridded up for P1, get to basically jump from inside row to 3rd to inside of the front row in 1st position, which that is how they're going to adjust things as everybody on the inside scoops up. Not a bad deal for him. He's plus 2 positions before the race even starts.
Yeah, definitely not going to argue when you get to go up that many positions. So Matthew Tucker going to go up inside row 1, but James Krahula going to control the start. But 43 definitely looking good before we even drop the green flag.
Car will dive down this time. Again, longest race of the night. You have to expect that drivers would, in theory, not push 110% right out of the gate. Have to survive, but again, these super trucks I mentioned are the bulkiest and the biggest vehicles that we have on this short track. Makes them pretty fun to watch, but it is very easy to get caught up in some trouble. So we'll see what happens for the final 75 laps of the super truck season, and just how patient these guys are out of the gate. Green flag in the air. Tucker dripped back a little bit, but he's able to draw back even, and side by side for the race lead to turn 1 we go. Tucker's looking to get to the point. Good run out of 2. We'll get it for him.
Yeah, as now they'll be side by side for the lead, Evan, as Krahula looks to the inside for the lead. Tucker gonna try to put up a fight, still side by side. Look at DJ Beverly in the 42 machine. He looks to be making an appearance just behind him, side by side between Gabe Wood and Dravicki, but still side by side between the 8 and the 43 as they go off into 1.
This is the battle up front for the race lead. As long as they stay side by side, don't expect to see much separation between the guys up front and the guys behind him. You see the 42 with DJ Beverly already up 2 spots in 3rd. He's right there in that Hot Wheels orange number 42 in 3rd position. Up front, I think maybe finally a breakthrough. Nope, the 8 drives right back down, and Beverly's got the best seat in the house for the ongoing battle.
Yeah, Beverly doing great work at just being patient and letting these guys use up their stuff, because you mentioned, Evan, this is a 75 lap race. You can burn through all your equipment pretty fast, especially with those tires, and Krahula doing all he can to keep on the inside of Matthew Tucker. Tucker almost gets into the outside wall there as they're being still side by side. Look at Gabe Wood though, maybe looking at another pinch over the outside of DJ Beverly. Not going to quite able to make it happen, maybe in turn 1, so 2 by 2 for first. And no, Gabe Wood's going to check up a little bit, so move Christian Peterson in the 23 almost to the inside, and he will be going into turn 3. Meanwhile, still side by side for your race lead.
That continues 6 laps now, uninterrupted, of side-by-side battling for the race lead tonight for Myrtle Beach. Really tight that time, leaning on each other. The 43's been a little bit more aggressive with that pinch. I did think that Krahula pushed up a tad bit 1 and 2, and they were on each other's door. And if you're the 42 and DJ Beverly, you got to be enjoying this. They're burning up their stuff at a race that we have been saying, 75 laps. Take it easy. Keep that truck in one piece. The 42's kind of sitting back and watching all this as finally Matthew Tucker, courtesy of the outside of the racetrack, gets sole possession of the race lead at lap 8.
Yeah, and it took them a long time to sort that one out, so we'll have to see how the tires shake out here in a bit. As meanwhile, Christian Peterson makes it side by side for a third between he and DJ Beverly, so everybody doing everything they can to get the positions while they can. Meanwhile, just behind them, Gabe Wood going to be lurking in the distance just to maybe try to follow through whoever gets the run going through one, so he's going to be side by side now. Peterson's going to clear. Gabe Wood going to try his shot, going to get a little bit tight going into 1 and 2. It's still going to be side by side though as they get going.
This is, despite the fact that it's not side by side, still a pretty tight battle as you see all kinds of out of shape. That top of the 4 was the 42 at EJ Beverly. That was that orange truck sideways up at the outside. He saves it. There will be no cautions, but you can see he's dropped straight out of the picture as he's had big problems. Now a fight for second. James Krahula on the outside of the racetrack. And we lose that spot to Christian Peterson, who, through all the excitement up front, Chris, is charged from 9th to now 2nd in just 12 laps.
Yeah, doing such a great job making his way up through the field. Now going to have his sights set on that 43 of Tucker. But how about Gabe Wood? Pretty much just following Christian Peterson through this field as now you see him work side by side with the 8 of James Krahula. That 00 doing a great job of just kind of lurking there and waiting for the right moments, which is exactly what you need to do in a race as long as this one, Evan. You just got to pick and choose your spots. Meanwhile, just behind them, it's going to be Will Dravicki and Ricky Harden side by side for the fifth place position, and Ricky Harden going to take that position away from the 30 machine. So battles going all over the place as meanwhile we look up front to a battle heating up for our lead.
Yeah, battle for the race lead is on once more. That 23 has made his charge through the field and is now looking for one more spot. And I said this earlier tonight when we saw him march to the front of the field pretty quickly in those legends that he got enough positions early that he could take it easy. But Christian Peterson's MO does not tend to be one to just rot around. He would like to get this taken care of as we complete lap number 15 of 75. He has still 60 laps to go to get those extra 1.5 tenths of a second, but he's already plastered on the back of the 43 as you see right there. Maybe thinking about going to the inside, but stays tucked in line for the moment. Much different line though, way up the racetrack in 3 and 4. It'll help him on speed off of the corner, and that's how you set somebody up. Peterson to the bottom, nice move as we go side by side.
Yeah, side by side is look at Tucker once again did the same thing to Krahula when they were side by side, utilizing that pinch, especially in 1 and 2, where those bumps can be such a hindrance to go down there. Still side by side though, Christian Peterson making a charge on the inside. But how about that 43 of Matthew Tucker doing a great job at really holding him off? But it is going to be a 4-0 as Christian Peterson's going to move his way. Maybe I spoke too soon here, Evan. The crossover is what Matthew Tucker is going to be using going down into 3 and 4, but it's not going to be enough to move the 23 of Christian Peterson to the lead.
Now you have to wonder what happens from this point. Does that 43 of Tucker really try to push it to keep up with him, or do you run your own race and hope that maybe Christian Peterson's burning his stuff up? The 23 has not been known to overdrive. In fact, when we were talking earlier this evening with race winner Dustin Turnage, he noted that he tends to struggle against the likes of Peterson and Tucker on those long runs because they can sustain that speed for much longer. So if the 23 passes you this early and has a fast truck, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the stats are not looking good for you. Still plenty of good stuff to go on, though, as we ride on board with Tucker, and you see Christian Peterson get a little bit further and further out. Plenty of fun going on around the racetrack. One of them is as we look in with the fight behind that 30 machine, Will Dravicki being chased by Jody Green in number 13. This one, a fight for 5th and 6th.
Yeah, and look at the 13 of Jody Green making a push towards the inside. Not going to quite be there coming out of 4 though, Evan, as they look towards going to 1 and 2. Jody Green just kind of lurking on the back bumper of Will Dravicki, trying everything he can. Look at him now, going to make the hard charge down to the inside lane, trying to make it side by side, and he does. Now that battle for 5th and 6th going to heat up a little bit as they cross the line to complete lap 22 to 23. So side by side, 13 and 30 as they're coming out of 2.
The 30 machine is trying to hang on the outside, but it appears that a majority of the moves have been down low. The 13 enters high and crowd each other once more. It caught the 30 off guard a little bit, and I don't think it was a move by the 13 to Jody Green to intentionally run up on the 30, but sure Will Dravicki didn't appreciate getting pushed up the hill, and Dravicki ends up losing that battle and falls to P6. Gabe Wood is, I think, take a quick look, he is the only driver who has not gained nor lost any positions since the start of this race. He's trying to change that, looking at the outside on the 30 now.
Yeah, a lot of battles going on. Is now James Krahula going to get in loose in the inside of Matthew Tucker. Thought he was going to be able to hold it coming off the 2, but not the case. Just a quick spin around and already got that 8 truck back going again. He just tried a little bit too hard to get that run off the corner, Evan.
Made a late dive in, and he was sideways that whole time, and just couldn't get it. That car kept walking up the hill. You see it there, that back end fishtailing. He's got to keep stepping it up and up and up the hill, and 43 was right there. Gabe Wood's lucky that he himself didn't get destroyed. It was a fantastic piece of driving the 43 car to not be out of this race, and that slows us down for the first time tonight at lap 25.
Yeah, slows us down just a little bit. As we're gonna rack them back up, is Christian Peterson gonna pull down pit road. He's got a huge back end damage from the looks of it, Evan. So don't really know what happened there, but huge CP issues for that 23 machine as he's gonna try to get some damage fixed under the first caution.
Yeah, he got damage. He was hit by the cone car. Is an interesting thing. The cone car was caught up the inside of the racetrack, and Christian Peterson made a very late decision to come down pit road and essentially just pulled right in front of that cone car, and the driver should be at least aware that the cone car is coming. I'm not sure if Peterson was making a move to go to pit road or if he was just scrubbing the tires, but I mean, he pulled right in front of that cone car, and the back end damage is going to force him to the back of the field as everybody else up front back on the loud pedal. Green flag back in the air for Matthew Tucker, who once again finds himself leading this race with Peterson now back in 8th.
Yeah, putting Peterson in the back, this will be really fun to see if he can roll back through the field. But yeah, that gives Matthew Tucker a good opportunity to come back through the field. And Ricky Harden will also have a chance at trying to get another win on the season for him. And you got a battle between Gabe Wood and guys behind him as well. So they're right fighting side by side still right now. And Gabe's got the better side of the inside right now on Will Dravicki right now. But that 00 goes shot down to the bottom, and remember, these guys have to take these tires all the way to the end. I think that's good to note because of the fact that this is the longest race that we've ever run in these trucks. So, oh, there goes Gabe with the slide move to the number 30 right there. Good move by him.
A lot of guys slipping and sliding so far, and Gabe Wood is in front of now a side-by-side fight between the 23 of Peterson and the 30, and Peterson wants to get 2 at once, just uses that inside. Gabe Wood unable to get all the way down, and he continued to fight for third. Meanwhile, in front, though, vying for the race lead, that 43 of Tucker goes to the race lead. Up on the inside of Ricky Harden. Three-way fight still not done there, so all over the place as we fight for the race lead and for fourth.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Evan. There's battles going all over the track right now. It's almost hard to keep up with them as now the 15 going to look towards the inside this time on that 43 of Matthew Tucker's. They go through 3 and 4. Jody Green lurking behind them, but Ricky Harden not going to quite get the run that he needed off the corner, but still going to keep the nose there side by side coming out of 2.
43 outside is actually going to get the better of it. Bottom has been typically the place to make the pass. Harden had not a lot of speed, lost it, and then Tucker almost looked like he didn't get the entry to turn 3 that he wanted, and right back even. He just can't get clear. That pesky nose of the 15 machine stays on the left rear quarter panel. A little bit of the curbs that time. Tucker sideways. Just fantastic stuff we've seen at the opening 34 laps. So this one is now a bobble by Tucker. Going to put Harden back to the top of the scoring pylon.
Yeah, look at Ricky just being able to get there, and then the battle for second still pretty darn good as well. As number 13 of Jody Green, he wants to get up there and mix it up, and he is definitely doing that. 43 on the outside, trying to hang tough, but right now he's got Peterson on his inside as well. Peterson going from the back, trying to go back to the front after having that collision with the cone car, which, as silly as it sounds, it's quite hilarious, at least to me. But Peterson able to get by the 43 of Matthew Tucker and is able to get by both those drivers, the number 43 and 00 of Gabe Wood. Gabe trying to do something here, and It looks like he's going to have to get the better of the 43 before he can even get anyone in front of him right now. 43 is only going backwards, and 23 of Christian Peterson's only going forward. So it'll be fun to watch these guys here the next few laps, as Gabe looks like he goes to the bottom side there.
All of this will continue to go on. 8 drivers of the 13 who started this one on the lead lap. Of course, live leaderboard going across at the top of your screen. But as all of the fun continues in this, the longest race of the night, let's take this opportunity to take a look at our iRacing Speedway race break, brought to you by iRacing, the leading online racing simulation developed from the beginning as a centralized racing and competition service. iRacing organizes, hosts, and officiates races on virtual tracks from all around the globe. And in the fast-paced world of esports, iRacing is your one-stop shop for online racing with officially sanctioned series with the likes of NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Global Rallycross, and many more. As we're halfway home, Ricky Harden is your race leader. That's him up at the top of your screen, leading this race on top of Jody Green, who's second, and the car you are on board with, Christian Peterson, is third, only half a second back. Then a little bit of a gap, 1 second off is Matthew Tucker. He is fourth, trying to hold off Gabe Wood just behind him, P5.
And then your remaining positions, James Krahula is in 6th, Will Ricky is in the 7th position, and then Jeremy Watkins is in the 8th position here to round out the 8-truck field.
That's a look at everybody active on track. Of course, out of this race, 9th DJ Beverly, 10th Randy Oakham, Josh King 11th position, Rory Bloom 12th, and that is it for the drop. The green flag in this one. That's a quick look top of iRacing Midway Race Break. For more information on the wide variety of sim racing possibilities online, visit iRacing.com to sign up today. And thanks to our friends at Red Bull Global Rallycross, you can now visit iRacing.com/membership and use the promo code PR-GRC for an opportunity to start your iRacing career for 3 months for less than $5. Again, that is promo code PR-GRC. It is valid on new iRacing memberships only, and you can find out more information at iRacing.com/membership. The guys up front battling for the race lead once more. They're very much iRacing veterans, and this is the kind of racing we expect to see out of a week by 13 to Jody Green, sat second for a couple of laps, went right back on the charge, and we are side by side once more now as we take lap 45.
Yeah, and you can really see the impatience of Christian Peterson start to build up here, Evan, as the 23 is trying whatever lane he can to get going and get past these guys. Meanwhile, running on board with 13 of Jody Green as Ricky Harden trying to keep the nose there, and he does on the high line. He's going to have to hold off the 23 of Christian Peterson as they work through 1 and 2.
15 slotted back up at the outside. The outside faster sometimes just slower. It seems like, at least at this point, very evenly matched. And I'd have to say, for the super trucks who we have seen 13 times this year, Coop, this is probably the most competitive we've seen them.
Yeah, and it's one of the longer races too, so it's not like any of these guys have a super big advantage as Christian Peterson has now cleared Ricky Harden, but these guys now have to make it a long haul. I think what Peterson's been able to do is make his truck last those 25, 30 laps, but caution's going to be coming out, but I think there's a wreck in turn number 4 there.
You're in a wreck in turn 4. First driver I saw was the 00 of Gabe Wood, and it is that pink Chevrolet Silverado. It was a quick spin and save. You take a second look now, all on his own. Got the fence going into the corner. As you see right here, trying to catch up to the 43 car, and he'll catch the fence right before he turns into the corner right there. So the truck gets loosened up, then he jerks that wheel to the left, and it just upsets it. And he walks it up the hill, very similar to a speed we saw earlier. And eventually, he loses that truck. It spins out, backs into the outside wall, and that's where the caution comes from. So one small truck incident, not a lot of cleanup. Everybody's already doubled back up, but that does tighten everything up. So we go from a 3-way fight for the race lead to probably throwing at least 2-3 more trucks into that.
You're exactly right. So it'll be interesting to see how all these drivers shake out here, as Christian Peterson's going to be on the top side as we get ready to go green.
Race car obviously not even needing to come out and pick up the field. Let's see what Jody Green can do at a race start. Goes first. Good jump. Harden right there as well on the safe wavelength, and pulls right into P2 with the 23 Peterson still outside. You go on board with Tucker. He probably wants to join the train on the inside, but now the 15 slows up. 23 with the advantage, and that's what's keeping these guys on their toes, as there is no set preferred lane tonight.
Yeah, and Jody Green really wants to keep the number 23 behind him, but Peterson, with him trying to do that, does not happen as much as he wants to with the 15 of Harden having an issue on the outside wall. It looks like he might have just tapped it just a little bit, but Tucker, everyone else, as you're seeing on your screen, everyone's just getting single file, at least right now, with about 25 laps to go here tonight.
Running out of time as we get down to the end of this thing. I've seen it, ironically enough, off of the restart, Chris, more separation out than what we had before.
Yeah, a little bit more separation, and it's really surprising. Jody Green has kind of flipped a switch here on the restart, as now you start to see Christian Peterson start to reel that 13 in, going through 1 and 2, but really impressed by the start that 13 machine has had, and even Christian Peterson gonna leave the 15 of Ricky Harden behind for a little bit. So we saw a lot of lane switching and everything hit the fan before the caution came out, but everything kind of calm, kind of spread out here as they work through down into turns 3 and 4.
23 still there, tracing. You can see Peterson likes taking that higher line. He used that earlier when he caught up to the race leader, entered way high in 3, but he cut it low, about diamond it center of the corner, and he was able to get a big run on the inside, got the preferred position, and went to the race lead. He did get that run on Jody Green, but not enough to go to the race lead. But you see it on board with him, goes way up top and then darts back down to the inside, and you can see he carries that speed off of the corner. He gets much closer to the back end of Jody Green. The question is, though, is sacrificing that time on entry going to be counteracted by the speed you gain on exit? And those last couple of times, he ended right out kind of where he started.
Yeah, and so Jody Green in a really good position to make something happen here at the 20 laps to go mark at Myrtle Beach. And as we look at that, we also look at the battle between James Krahula and Will Dravicki. Dravicki on the bottom, Krahula on the top, and Gabe Wood trying to sneak in there and make something happen with these guys as he barely hits the outside wall, I think. And looks like the number 8's going to get the better of the 30 right now. But he's still the inside, but the 8's going to have the power on the outside. So watching it from Gabe Wood's point of view of what he's seeing, he's able to get really good in the corner right behind the number 30 of Will Dravicki. Nothing right now happening, but Gabe's right there to make a move as he's looking to the outside of the 30. He's right there, right to the right rear quarter panel, and he's going to be able to hit some speed, and Gabe's still side by side with the 30.
And it's not something that you would expect to see, somebody actually fighting to get on somebody's outside. It's so tempting, and I'm not sure if easy is the right word, but it's a lot easier to get to somebody's inside than their outside. Shorter way around the track, you just dive it in, you get a nose, you're good. To establish position on the outside of somebody, you have to take the longer way around, and you tend to have to make a move to the outside. You're not actually turning to the right, but you're turning less to the left to try to move up to the outside of the racetrack, and it's what makes it so difficult. Gabe Wood wasn't able to do it. He will now go to the inside of Dravicki. It's a side-by-side fight for 6th position. Continue, then there's contact. Dravicki is going to get turned, and he's into the outside wall. Caution.
Just a little bit of contact there between the 00 and the 30. They were going side by side for a while there, Evan. You're going to get a second look on the LSRTV replay cam as they go off into turns 3 and 4. You can look at it. Gabe Wood going to push up a little bit. Will Dravicki going to come down a little bit. They kind of met in the middle of the exit of the turn, and just slight contact to the door, and then more contact as they spin across the start finish line. Huge upset for Will Dravicki.
Just came together, and Dravicki was the one who went sideways, bounced off Gabe Wood again. So even though Gabe Wood doesn't actually spin out in this thing, as you watch the onboard shot from Watkins behind, you'll notice after the contact, Dravicki does come back down, and he hits Gabe Wood again. Right there's the initial contact, and he slides down, and right there bounces off of him. So even though Dravicki's the one that spins out and gets the outside wall, Gabe Wood's probably got some pretty good damage on the right side of his truck as well.
Oh yeah, no doubt between all these guys who get, I mean, that damage is not something that you can really do a lot with, because that's not the first time he's been involved in an accident with the wall or another driver. So Gabe Wood's pretty beat up, but I think he'll be fine out there. But there's going to be a little bit of damage out there for him and the 30. I don't know how Will is going to be able to do right there, but they're going to be starting next to each other on the grid. Well, Christian Peterson and Jody Green will do battle here with 13 laps going to 12 laps to go. Yeah,
late race shootout in this one. It's been a fantastic Super Truck main event so far. Let's see how they cap this one out here tonight for week 19 of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. Green flag in the air, almost identical to the last one. Green gets off and away. Hardin going to come up from the second row, wait on the bumper, and it's Peterson once more pinned up top.
Now look at the 13 at the very bottom, but look at Peterson on the outside, makes a great move to the outside, and he's able to really get some speed here. Peterson really fast on this restart. We'll see what Jody Green is able to do. He's going to do everything in his power to stop Peterson from getting that momentum on the outside, but Peterson's just got it. He's right there. Great camera angle right there to see how close they are and how much speed you're gaining and losing in the corners. So 23 is going to really push off the corner, and he's going to beat him just momentarily at the lap and lead for the first time since he went down pit road. But it's not over yet. Jody's going to try the bottom side, and don't believe it's over when he actually clears it, because Jody's going to try his best to get back at him with 10 laps to go.
And obviously that 23 machine has been a little bit slow off for the restarts, which you would expect to really hurt him. But right there, clearing and going back to the race lead is Christian Peterson. The resiliency, however, that number 23 machine has yet to falter. Came into tonight 10 wins in 13 starts in these super trucks this year, looking for win number 11. Continues to put on a show, trying to increase what was a 100-point lead in the championship coming into tonight. And as we get down to the end of this, he stretches it out a little bit more. Jody Green right there, though, still within striking distance if they get physical.
Yeah, Christian Peterson was to make a mistake or slow down just a bit, Jody Green in that 13 would be just there. Look at the run he gets coming off of turn number 2. He's there. He can make a move if he can just reel in just a few more tenths, and he's going to do it off of this corner. He's going to be on the back bumper of the 23. He could easily make a hard charge down the inside line if he wanted to, try to force the issue, but Jody Green going to sit back and wait and just see if Christian Peterson makes a mistake. And meanwhile, just behind them, Ricky Hardin lurking back there in case these two make any contact.
Never hurts to just be prepared, and Hardin's been in this Sid for quite some time, but hasn't been able to get much further to the front than third. Stalled out there after making a very quick charge up after starting this race in 6th position inside of 5 laps to go. Jody Green is still not going to give up. There's already a dent in the back end of the 23. Does he add a second one? We'll find out.
Yeah, Jody Green's going to try everything he's got right here at the very end. He's only got a handful of laps left, and I bet you Jody Green's going to put everything in, including the kitchen sink, if he's got anything to say for it. Looking and really dive down to the bottom, but Christian Peterson's going wide, knowing that the number 13 is going to do that. That way, Christian Peterson can at least get some good push off, and so he doesn't get hit by Green, because Green's going to do everything he can to at least just make it at least something for him to try for, but he lost a lot of speed there as Wildravicki and the number 30, or that is the number 30, and Krahula once again go at it, as Gabe Woods also once again behind this battle. And so this little group of drivers is starting to get antsy and starting to try and get their positions with only a couple laps left, as Christian Peterson started to send the way to Jody Green there.
Jody Green took a big swing at it, and maybe a lap too early, really drove it in hard, lost a lot of speed, and final lap for Myrtle Beach for the Super Trucks. It is old Christian Peterson now. Probably the biggest separation we've seen between 1 and 2 all night long. He puts the right foot down just a little bit harder when it matters the most, that he will match the record that Carker set just not all that long ago. An 11th win in a single division. It comes in the Super Trucks as he secures the championship on the season.
And that just goes to show that you can never count Christian Peterson out. He had worked his way all the way up through the field, then got some damage, went down pit road, got some damage fixed. Doesn't look like it, though, if that back bumper tells another story. Then was fighting with Jody Green pretty much the entire race, Evan, and he kind of had me questioning the ability there for a while, because Jody Green was just able to keep out in front of him, but the perseverance, like you said earlier, just prevailed, and now you see him burning it down on the start-finish line. So great win for Christian Peterson.
And a lot of the burnouts, that we're seeing tonight, Coop, not only for the race wins, but for the championships as well. And, well, this race was very close. The season as a whole was not.
Yeah, and we're getting a little advice from Cisco saying that He did had Kyle run into him on purpose so he didn't have to have the truck to post race. So that's kind of an interesting thing to think about. But that's right. I mean, he was able to get it done tonight, and yeah, it was kind of interesting to see that we've got a couple championships wrapped up, and they both won their races respectively.
We'll recap this one. We'll also stick the mic right back in Christian Peterson's face in just a moment. Here's the results for tonight's Super Trucks main event from the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Coming over to victory lane, as we saw, Christian Peterson, an 11th win for him. Again, that ties for the most in any individual division of this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series over the course of the season. An impressive mark for him as he wins the championship by over 100 points. Jody Green, though, fantastic race. Ricky Harden as well, third. Maybe a different result at a restart here or there. This race could have ended differently. They put up valiant effort, though, and come home with the top three. Matthew Tucker ends up at a fourth, and Will Trevicki rounds out in your top five.
Finishing sixth will be James Krahula, then Gabe Wood finishes in the 7th position, with Jeremy Watkins finishing 8th, DJ Beverly 9th, Randy Yoakum 10th, with Joshua King and Roy Blum finishing out the field.
That's a look at top to bottom at your full race results. We go trackside once again with Christian Peterson. This time it's a win in the Super Trucks. Christian, congratulations. I'll tell you what, if every single race in these trucks was that competitive all year, I'm sure you would have sweated a lot more than you did. They really made you fight for that 11th win. Tell us about it.
Yeah, for sure. I got up out of my chair, threw my headset off, took the hoodie off. I was wrong of wearing a hoodie for a 75 lap race like this. But yeah, that was, I'm sweating pretty bad, but a lot of fun, man. That was a little debacle there, whatever happened with the cone car. I don't know what was going on. Like, my car was saying that it was overheating, but I went to look at the pit stop adjustments, and there's no tape for this truck anymore that you can adjust during the pits. So I was like, oh boy, I don't know what's going on. But I went and I went to my garage. I got out of the truck and I didn't see anything wrong. Like, it was my race setup. So I got back in and I went back out, and the thing went right back. Like, when I got back in the car, the temperature like reset itself or something. I don't know. It was really weird. It was a little spooky, and probably just a glitch, but never seen that happen. So glad we got through that, and that the damage didn't affect us too bad. I know I took out the cone car for the rest of the night, but we got by that.
How much did you feel a difference in the car before and then after that contact? And did you feel like maybe that was the reason those guys were able to stay on you, as opposed to if that race car was at completely 100%?
Probably not. I mean, I was driving really hard at the beginning. I wasn't driving too hard. I was driving hard until I got to second, and then I started driving hard once we pulled away from him a little bit to try to get by him. And then I made the mistake of adding gas when I pitted, and that tightened the truck up like a whole bunch. So I was just fighting a little bit tight in the center, and I just had to wait on a little extra longer than I wanted to. But we got through it. Everything was good.
Obviously a points championship for you as well, and this one not as tight as the Legends. What was it that you enjoyed so much about these trucks?
Just how powerful, man. You can really just drive it wherever you want, like 3 and 4, throw it up by the wall and entry, and cut it down center. And it's just a lot of fun. Big heavy car, big heavy truck on a lot of power on a small track like this.
Let you get out of here. The sponsors and the shout-outs, as always, all those good folks who make it happen for you, who powers you to now 2 back-to-back race wins and points titles locked up.
Got to thank Scott Austin. Austin Designs, he threw this paint scheme together like a couple weeks ago. It looks awesome. I'm not sure how much I'll be running it since this truck isn't used very often anymore, but we'll see. So just shout out to him. Shout out to everybody at Evans here, 6 man. You guys know the deal. All you guys at LSRTV, you guys do a freaking awesome job. Love going back and watching the broadcast and all that stuff. So yeah, that's about it. And just thanks Kyle for putting on this deal. Just a lot of fun, a bunch of races every week, and yeah.
Well, you know that we appreciate what you guys do on track to give us a show. We appreciate the time, Christian. Congratulations, and best of luck headed forward. Still a couple of green and checker flags to come on the year.
Yep, have fun, guys.
Race winner tonight in the Super Trucks, 11 wins in those trucks this year. Again, that matches Matt Cucker, who has 11 wins in the Chargers for the most wins by any driver in a single division of this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. So the main contest is coming to gone. We've still got racing coming up. The second of our straight stock features and the U-Cars coming up. It's week 19 of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series. You're watching LSRTV, your home for sim racing. We're back live from the Myrtle Beach Speedway. Saw these cars earlier, and they are back to street stocks. Will return. Saw Dustin Turnage take the win in them at the start of the night. Does not look like that he will be participating in this second one, but the street stocks are back on track once more. We discussed the point situation coming into tonight. Jeremy Adams 6 points up on Matt Cucker. Adams did not start, though, in that first race, so I believe that means Matt Cucker leapfrogs him, takes the points lead, and with Adams not being here, Cucker no reason to start, will not take the green flag, and all of that is unofficial. Once we get full results and whatnot, I'm sure next week we'll have the official standings and whatnot. And do have to preface, though, of course, everything unofficial as of this week. But Coop, everybody else still fighting for a couple of positions that are up for grabs in the rest of the points.
Yeah, and it would be a really fun way to to kind of end the regular season for a lot of these guys. We'll do this, and then we'll have our fun race, which actually does have a close points battle. I was definitely reminded by the guy who's close to winning that points battle the other day, which was Gabe Wood. But yeah, it'll be a really fun race to watch. I know for a fact it won't be one driver that repeats the win, so I think that'll be really fun to see which one of these other guys are able to get to victory lane at the end of the night.
We will see how this one plays out. Chris, going to be 20 laps just like the first one, so not much changes.
Just like the first one in terms of laps, but as we mentioned in the first one, the day to night, that could provide some fun racing here tonight. Excited to see as we get ready to grid these cars up. Should be fun. Final points race of the night before we move on to the U-Car.
The cars will be fun at the end of it all. Let's take a look top to bottom at how we will rack them and stack them again with inverts and such. It'll be Jody Green starting this one from pole position in that number 13 machine, and Gabe Wood will be outside in the double O. Back in row 2, Jeremy Watkins starts third, DJ Beverly will be fourth, and then Josh King P5 to round out the top 5.
So starting in the 6th position will be Roy Blum with Will Dravicki starting 7th, and Randy Yoakum will start out your 8-car field tonight in the 20-lap final race for the Street Stocks.
Of course, as we mentioned earlier tonight, 20 laps. It was Turnage who took the win, not in this one. Cucker was fast in that one, not here as well. So, if the best of the rest is the right words, but you've got folks that can compete for wins. Jody Green, Gabe Wood have had a couple of opportunities tonight to park their cars into victory lane. Maybe this one they're able to break out in. And again, when this one is done, we are not done. New cars coming up after for 25 laps to round out week 19 of this Myrtle Beach simulations here. I have to think, though, with the smaller car count, and it'll definitely affect your Chris as well in that first one, that this race should be cleaner maybe than most street stock short track races. We'll have to find out.
Yeah, it should be interesting. A whole lot of cars coming up here. Jody Green, we've seen him. The 00 of Gabe Wood starting on the outside. A whole lot of people to watch out for as we get ready for this one to get underway. Should be fun.
Car takes the lights out. It will head down to the pit lane the last time. Don't expect in these street stocks for that outside line to be as good as it was in the Super Truck race. I feel like we will kind of come back out of the twilight zone, if you will, on the inside is definitely going to be the preferred lane. You never know, but watch for drivers fighting for that inside of positioning, and especially watch driver who starts third at the 90, Jeremy Watkins, see if he can get a better restart than Gabe Wood as they come up the inside for the first time down to 1 and 2. Pace cars off, final straight stock points race of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series season. Green flag in the air. Jody Green a little bit late though on the gas, won the race to the line, but it's Gabe Wood first to turn 1.
Yeah, you know Gabe Wood wants to try and get this win here and give him some momentum for the next race, which will be a little bit of fun, but he takes a little bit more seriously than some other people. So Gabe Wood on the outside, he's got Jody Green pretty pinned, or kind of pinned down there, but definitely didn't push him at all. So Gabe Wood's on the outside, gave Jody plenty of room. Almost, I think, he's given him too much here at this, even though we've only got 20 laps, he's still kind of giving him a lot of room there. So I think that's why Gabe really hasn't pushed away, because that top side's so good at this track. So looks like Jody Green's still able to stay on the bottom and keep that lead for the time being.
Side by side they go as this fight all continues. You're looking out the back end of that 13 of Jody Green. Try to keep an eye on the 00, who is now solely behind, but a crossover, that good run off for the corner, transitions top to bottom. Checked up a little bit, though. I think Gabe Wood was worried that Green was going to come down across his nose. He lifted, and it'll cost him a shot at the race lead for now.
Yeah, it cost him a huge shot at the race lead. Going to have an uphill battle now to catch back up to that 13 of Jody Green, but Gabe Wood have been not really having too much trouble out of the back, because just behind him, DJ Beverly, Jeremy Watkins, and Will Dravicki going to be doing battle in a little bit of a cluster there. So not really going to have issues out the back for Gabe Wood, as now we look back and almost 3 wide there, but DJ Beverly able to eke out in front of Dravicki and Watkins, is now Dravicki going to clear Watkins, so they're going to single file themselves out.
That's the better part of the field there in this fight. Mid-pack, the 90 car is on the inside of that 72 of Blum. Bright red entry of Watkins trying to move forward, and in front of them, Dravicki wants to continue his charge. That's 3 sets of 2x2 in the frame that time. So 6 of the 8 cars on track for a moment. We're fighting for a position, and Dravicki will win that fight for third, so he jumps up in front of Everly as we look back and see Blum now the lone driver topside.
Guys gonna be able to get clear, so it's almost single file racing throughout this, but you can't forget about the number 90 there, still looking on the outside there and able to get clear of, that was 72 of Roy Blum, like we were just saying. But Jeremy Watkins gonna try and throw it down to the bottom one more time, but these guys getting single file out, and basically there's a little bit of separation between these drivers, but I bet you that some of these guys are gonna try and keep pushing it in. Look at the number 90 go to the very bottom of the track, and race right now not able to make the pass in the 72, but these guys behind him are looking pretty eager.
Yeah, definitely everybody's ramped up. It's the last race of the season. There's no reason to hold anything back. Not that short track tempers are typically very polite, but you don't have to worry about anybody getting payback on you. It's the last race of the year. Look at the 72 car leaning on the back of the 42 at EJ Beverly there. Not really a hit. Again, just kind of lined it up and pushed it. Oh, not a lot of room, but somehow sneaks it in to go side by side.
Side by side they go. As now Blum and Beverly going to go side by side. Yoakum and Watkins going to go side by side. That's going to quickly settle themselves out. But meanwhile, all eyes on Blum and Beverly side by side for fourth and fifth. Still going. Some contact going to be made between the 72 and the 42. That's going to slow them up a little bit and allow Randy Yoakum and Joshua King to join the mix. Look at Randy Yoakum kind of look towards the inside. Thought about making it 3 wide, but not going to quite. Contact again between the 72 and the 42 as now Roy Blum will get into it, and now the 42 going to give all bump the 72 all the way down the back straightaway as they go through 3 and 4.
He hit the 4 car as well. The 70 or the 42 rather, not making any friends. If there's a single short track car on the iRacing service that's made for contact, it's the street stock. At a 42, gonna get tagged again, Beverly. He'll hang on. He tagged Jeremy Watkins on the way by to straighten him out. No yellow, and we stay green, and they don't even give each other a second to recuperate. We're right back at the side by side with now Yoakum on the inside of Blum for 4th.
Yeah, it looked like DJ Beverly was really sawing at the wheel, and at this track you really can't do that. Once you start getting loose, you have to somehow just really ease your way back into it, so just lost it. But this battle here for 4th position between Roy Blum and Randy Yoakum is getting pretty good as Randy kind of pushes up the track just a little bit. He's going to give him a door just a little bit as well and get the right front in there, and Randy's gotten the inside, the 72 of Rory Blum, and he looks like he's going to flat out door him. That's going to destroy the momentum of the 72, and he's going to almost try and hook him there, getting a little bit of payback, but that's actually going to really hurt the 72's momentum as the 35 of Joshua King comes up on the inside. Fun racing right here, guys.
Well, I talked about that they're not necessarily going to be polite about it. The 4 just entered the corner a half a lane up. Doors to 72, moves him up and out of the way. A rather clean bump and run for short track standards. I'm sure, though, Blum did not appreciate it, and he's probably really upset now, Chris, that he can't get back to him, because that 35 of Joshua King's not getting out of his inside either.
Now, yeah, he's riding on board with that 35 of King just behind the 72 of Blum as they work their way down into turns 1 and 2. Running 6 right now. King trying to do everything he can to get to the inside of Blum, but it's not going to be enough as now he's got a battle between him and Jeremy Watkins shaping up as Joshua King's now going to defend from that 90 machine.
The 90 car Watkins also trying to get into the picture. This is all going on, by the way, about 4 seconds off of the race lead, which still is occupied by green. Dravicki's doing a good job of keeping him honest, but so far this is where all the excitement has been. They take a look at the gap for the race lead right now. Couple of car lengths, not to the point where Dravicki's not in this thing, but as they'll come to take 7 laps to go the next time by, running out of time for sure.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And so Vicky trying to get closer and closer to Jody Green right here for this lead, and Vicky getting closer and closer. He's got only a handful of laps, just 2 laps left, and Javicki's got to basically throw everything at it. And Jody Green, I think he wants to win one tonight. He's had a lot of opportunities, and so he'll have just a little overlap now to go. And Jody Green's got to defend this one. And I think it's a hard one to defend because he doesn't know if he's going to give him the chrome horn, doesn't want to get the inside. Here we go. We'll see what happens.
We will see. He's got some time to set it up too. So if you're the 30, you have to consider Chris. I probably don't want to bump him now, because he'll have 4 laps to come in to bump me back. So do you sit on the bumper and wait? Because the risk for that is, well, if you go to make the move and it doesn't work,
this is the white flag lap
opportunity. So for the 30, sideways, not going to be able to get back to him. And it is going to be Jody Green out in front to take the win. The 30 car looked at it in 1 and 2, thought that he was going to be hesitant and wait to 3 and 4 to make the move. And at that point, he was just too far back.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun out here in these street stocks here, Evan. Jody Green going to take the checkered and not even take some time to do some burnouts. Going to quickly take the car behind the wall and get out of here and move on to the U-Car race. So interesting race, interesting move by Will Dravicki to not really push things, but that 30 will come home in second after an interesting race, to say the least.
And Coop, I don't know if it was just a bad exit out of 2 or what, but all of a sudden Trevicki was too far behind, had to make an aggressive dive into 3. The car just broke traction and never really, I think, got to make the move that he was hoping to.
Yeah, he just got a little bit aggressive on the exit, and that kind of doomed him from that point. And yeah, it just kind of stunk for him at that point. But he didn't make his mistake. Someone else's misfortune, which I think was really cool for him to race like that. And so I think Will Trevicki gets some points for me, at least in that department. So great racing from everyone all together, and Jody Green finally got the win tonight.
Congratulations to him. We'll try to get a word in just a moment. First, as always, we recap the straight stock season with a look top to bottom at tonight's LSRTV full race results. Jody Green is headed to victory lane with a win on top of Will Trevicki by 0.3 of a second, but it's all said and done. Gabe Wood comes home in third, and to be honest, it's kind of no man's land. There was a lot of excitement behind him, a lot of excitement in front of him. He is kind of all alone in the P3 result. Randy Yoakum does win the fight for fourth position on top of Rory Plum P5.
Finishing 6th, 7th, and 8th would be Joshua King, Jeremy Watkins, and DJ Beverly to round out all the points races tonight.
That's a look at how everybody comes home in this one. We go trackside with Jody Green now, your race winner for the second of the straight stock races. Jody, congratulations on the win. Will was all over you there late, trying to make a move, wasn't able to, and you guys end up on top. Walk us through your race.
Oh man, I was just watching Will Trevicki come to me. I was wondering if he was going to catch me, and I just didn't want to slip up there at the very end. But man, that was fun. It's close. It got close in the trucks, but finally pulled it off in the street stocks.
Obviously, the street stock has been one of the more competitive series, that we've seen this year, and a handful of different winners for you guys to be able to park it at victory lane on the last race of the season. No doubt, I'm sure it's got to feel pretty good. Just tell us about how these cars drive compared to your driving style and kind of working in them over the course of the year.
Man, well, I've been off and on because of work in and out of here, but that setup I was running tonight. I'd go off in the corner and it felt like it didn't have no front tires on it. I'd have to take all the brakes and put it in the rear. But man, they're fun. I forgot how fun the street stocks was. I didn't race them hardly any this year at all. And everybody on Unacceptable was like, you know what, let's just run the street stocks tonight to see what it's about. And actually had a lot of fun doing it. It was a lot of good racing.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've seen 2 drivers tonight get their 11th win in a division, so it's nice to mix things up and see you guys park it at victory lane for you guys in the street stocks. Congratulations on that. We'll let you get out of here. I know we've been racing for a good little bit here, and we've still got one more to go, but before we do, Jody, the sponsors and the shout-outs makes it happen for you and the team.
Hey man, my whole team, Unacceptable Racing, sponsors Turn 2 Designs, Utility Specialists Incorporated, and man, Kyle Barnes putting on a outstanding event over and over and over and over. Every event he puts together is usually gold class, and of course you guys for putting on a stellar broadcast.
We appreciate the time, Jody. Congratulations on the win. And I know that that wraps up all of our points racing, but there's definitely a couple of fun weeks of racing still on Wednesdays we have coming up. So we hope to see you guys there. And, of course, down the line, best of luck.
Thanks, man. Let's go tear up some U-cars now.
Button on now. The U-Cars are coming up next for 25 laps. That's your street stock winner, though. Jody Green, first street stock win on the year. Fun to mix things up here, get a first-time winner in the final race of the season. So, as he is excited for it, we are as well. We will step aside. One more to go. A 25-lap U-Car race is all that stands in between us and the end of the evening. So we're happy that you're sticking with us. We'll be back in a moment to Myrtle Beach Speedway. You're watching LSRTV, your home for sim racing. And we're back live from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Final race of the night for Week 19, the weekly series finale for the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series presented by the Championship Esports Association. We look high above the racetrack. 25 laps still to go tonight for the U-Cars race. Is always one of the fun ones that we tend to close the evenings out with, Coop, and kind of let off some steam, if you will. It'll be a fun one as we get set to do it again, and these races never fail to impress.
Yeah, just going to be a handful of laps for these guys. It'll be really fun to see how this thing kicks off or finishes off at the end of the season with these cars. I mean, we're going to see them hitting each other. We're going to see them going all over the place. You know, like you said, never ceases to kind of entertain us.
We hope that this one is going to be fun, as it looks like we have a little bit over 10 cars lined up for this one, and it's the warm-up session in which the drivers are not allowed to hit the racetrack for obviously all the practice qualifying goes on over the course of the week earlier on in the night before we even turn the TV cameras on for the first race. Have to figure it out nice and quickly, and they'll be trackside. Let's introduce you to your starting grid for the U-Cars race tonight from Myrtle Beach. So, pole position in this one, it goes to the number 90. Jeremy Watkins will bring us to the green flag. This one, it'll be David Messier rolling off in the number 2 position. Will Dravicki starts tonight in 3rd spot. Randy Yoakum is 4th, and DJ Beverly rounds out your top 5.
Then you've got you got Rory Blum starting in the 6th position, and you've got Tyler Stevens starting right behind him with Joshua King starting behind him, with James Caputo starting 9th, and Gabe Wood starting starting 10th.
11th will go to Jody Green, 12th to Christian Peterson, and 13th to Ricky Harden.
So that is how we line up 13 cars strong for this one. Again, it is a 25-lap race. You will notice when we start, it says 26 laps. That's because iRacing, rightfully so, does not allow 3 wide restarts to be an option. So the first lap of this race will be used to stage everybody. So as opposed to positions 1 and 2 being on row 1, 3 and 4, being on row 2, and so on and so forth. It'll be 3 per lane. So it'll be 1, 2, and 3 on row 1, 4, 5, and 6 on row 2, and that is inside, middle, and outside. So you could argue it'd be better to start this race at a 4th than it would even be to start it in 2nd position. So we will see these guys rack them and stack them. So do have an opportunity, Chris, to go around a couple more times, line everybody up, and are not taking the green flag quite yet.
Yeah, and one thing to mention is that like you were saying, they'll have a little bit of a formation lap, but when these guys get 3 wide and we see them roll into the corners, you're gonna get just a few rows, and I think we'll have a straggler at the end. I think we'll have 13. I think we have 12 cars, so we'll have 4 even rows here, which is going to be really, really exciting to see that we'll have even rows here coming up shortly. But right now you're seeing them start to get halted, and then they'll be summoned into the corner to be to line up properly here in just a few moments. But whenever we see these cars, I mean, there is actually a points championship per se on the line between, I think it's the 00 and I think maybe Ricky Harden. It's either Ricky or it's I think it's Ricky. I'll go double check here in a second, but between those 2 guys, kind of keep an extra eye on those guys, but nonetheless, I think every driver is going to be fun to watch tonight.
Ever since week 1 of these U-Cars, it has been exciting to see what they bring to the racetrack. This is the most populated division we have seen, aside from obviously the Blue Ridge Napa Auto Parts late model stocks, which rounded out their point season a week ago. But we will see them a little bit later on in the season. But these guys, we've had 47 different drivers. And it goes all the way from the most points accumulated for Ricky Harden in P1 to me in P47 after 1 failed start. That's how much diversity we've seen in the U-Cars. Let's see what this race brings us. 3 wide, coming to the green flag.
Yeah, the 30 on the outside, that's going to be Will Dravicki. Gets a great start here, and he's able to, actually, that's going to be the 58 that gets through the middle of it. So looks like a little bit of a push from the 42 is able to get there. So big push as they go 4 wide right there in the middle. So looks like the 42 is going to dive it down to the bottom. That's DJ Beverly, and I think David Messier is going to be able to hold on to the lead. Maybe not, has some drivers on the inside that's going to get here, but DJ Beverly leads the first lap.
And you can see the 42 of Beverly right smack dab in the middle there, and there's going to be contact. Messier gets tagged by Dravicki, gets checked up. He'll fall backwards. That yellow car way up top is going the wrong way, but somehow he sneaked through it 3x3 at that, with no further incident.
Yeah, doing a great job. Great save by that 58. Going all the way to the back, though, so he's definitely going to have a lot of work to do, a lot of work cut out for him, especially when these cars come around. Dravicki going to be in second. Contact again. We're going to be wrecking once again. Huge wreck.
It was Stevens. Tyler Stevens got turned to double O of Gabe Woods, sent him for a ride after he kept getting pinched by him, and I think we're still green.
Yeah, it appears we still have green conditions, so then you start taking your eyes from the back and look back forward and see that Will Dravicki is really close to JJ Beverly here, and I think Dravicki's going to have a shot at getting to the bottom here shortly, but doesn't show it quite yet. It's able to take a wider approach into the corner, and I think he's going to be able to get him on the bottom side if he just lets up just a little bit of the gas. Yeah, there he goes, down to the bottom. Now here's what the 42 has the option of doing, of going wide or really pinning him down to the bottom, and I think he's going to try and do that, but the bottom's too strong right now.
And the 30 machine's going to be able to pull at least even, but the 42 of Dravicki, keeping him honest, stays up top. Finally concede the race lead. Tucked back in line as Dravicki goes to the point at the completion of lap number 6. 42 tries to cross back over, and a good amount of separation. They're side by side for 7th and 8th at the back, but a really tight single file line from there on up to the front of the field, as you do see that battle now come to an end with King dropping it behind David Messier.
Yeah, King coming behind Messier, trying to get up there to that 58 machine, but not going to quite be there just yet as they finally cross the line. Meanwhile, back up front, Will Dravicki going to be taking the lead from DJ Beverly, moving through the field. Nothing really happening too far throughout the field. Everybody kind of single filed out here, Evan, as things are slowly calming down here, but I don't expect that to stay around for too long.
Yeah, and obviously that incident, I think, is the biggest reason why we got everybody separated, because after we saw King get sideways, not only did a lot of cars get some damage, again, it wasn't a huge wreck, he got sideways, a couple of cars kind of had to push their way through because there was nowhere else to go, but the problem is, when you get that many cars checking up and they get slowed down from the contact, that's really where the separations all come from.
Yeah, exactly. And so if any of these leaders start doing the same thing, that's when we'll see everyone bunched up again. So you could say this is a combo before the storm, but I think it's a little early to say the storm's brewed just quite yet. Also, the leaders are putting out some good times. I think that's also something to note, that these leaders are right there, but you can see that mirror shot from the Ford back to the 72 right there, and 72 is looking on the inside a couple times, and every time I see looking at that mirror, you can just see that car coming pretty close each time, right here in the corners.
We will see, what the next ball to drop is, if somebody else has got something, or if it's going to be a mistake. These are cars as well that, let's look at them. They got headlights. That's probably the number one thing that tells you they're not made for a racetrack like this. So they don't handle all that well. It's a very fine line that these drivers have to walk, and we will definitely see people struggle with some sort of handling issues over the course of this race. If we do see big issues like what we saw in the Chargers, again, all it takes is for one guy up here, considering the fact that the top 5 cars are still within 1.2 seconds. That's Blum right there in 5th. He, to that top car in line, your race leader in front of him, is just over a second. So because they're that tight, one mistake cracks this thing wide open.
We'll crack this thing wide open. Just getting some word through race control, Gabe Wood has to finish 3 spots ahead of that 15 of Ricky Harden to secure that championship here tonight, and he's doing just that, while the 00 of Gabe Wood's running 6th, and the 15 of Ricky Harden just running in that top 10. So we'll keep an eye on that battle throughout the rest of this race. Not a whole lot of racing left to go here, Evan. Really winding down the laps here pretty quickly. Will Dravicki still leads DJ Beverly by a healthy margin. Then you got Jeremy Watkins, Randy Yoakum and Rory Blum to round out your top 5, as everybody's still kind of single filed out here throughout the rest of the pack.
And you just kind of wait to see again. This U-Cars race has turned into a straight stock race, if you will. Side by side, deeper in the pack. A fight between Joshua King's 35 and James Krahula's 8 car. There they are as they head into turn number 3. Krahula on the inside, and he gets on by Joshua King without much invent. 35 with a big run off of the corner, but I don't think he's going to cross him over. He'll just push him down the front straight away, just drafting at a racetrack that's barely over half a mile in length. No big deal.
Yeah, you got to remember that these guys get topped out at the top of the. They hit the rev limiter and they're clicking it away. I mean, it's like that since as soon as they hit the start finish line, basically, and see a little bit of a wiggle from Mr. King right there, but. With that being said, I mean, if you're on the back bumper, it's not like you can actually really go that much faster, but it does kind of maybe push your when you get in the corner. If they get off the brakes just a little bit earlier than you do, it might throw you down in the corner just a little bit quicker.
See, these guys continue to do battle. Dravicki's lead has been a constant, way out in front. At 0.4 of a second, Beverly still second. Watkins and Yoakum may be one of the closer fights on track. That is for 3rd and 4th, and well, they're side by side behind him. Gabe Wood, that's the driver to the inside, trying to get around Rory Blum, who's up top, bottom again, preferred lane. And Gabe Wood looks like he'll get it in 3. No, he was clear, but the 72 rolls back into the gas and is right back even.
And look at the run that 72 got coming out of the corner, but it looks like Gabe Wood will have him clear as there's contact in front of him. Between Yoakum and Watkins, it looks like those 2 cars going at it in front of him. Now he's cleared the 72 of Rory Blum. Now he's got a sight set on the 4 of Randy Yoakum. So, but look at the 72, not really going to give him any room to breathe here, Evan, going down into turns 1 and 2. Rory Blum still on the back bumper, but make that kind of a 4-car battle now as Gabe Wood and Rory Blum have closed up the gap to the 4 of Yoakum and the 90 of Jeremy Watkins.
The 00 Gabe Wood driving it in real hard. You saw him get close to the back of the 4. I don't know if he actually made contact with Yoakum or not, but it was awfully tight. 20 laps down, 6 to go in this race. And well, Gabe Wood, as you're on board with him, hits the curbs, getting real aggressive, trying to dig to the inside. That'll cost him a little bit off the corner.
Yeah, me and him have talked about how if you're able to get on those curbs, you should be able to actually get that car rotated, because when you'll actually start to slide the back into the car. Now with 25 laps, you can do that. With a longer race, you really can't. But he's able to do that, and he's able to save well more than 3 spots ahead of Ricky Harden, who just actually, I think, got a position, if I'm not mistaken. Actually looks like he's still back in the pack, so he's really got to dig deep in these last few laps.
The 4 car really digging hard, way up in front of your screen there. A swipe at the back end. Yoakum on Watkins. Now he'll go to the inside. This is a fight for 3rd. It might be a little bit too late to battle for the race lead from this point, because they're over a second off of the top spot. And a caution comes out at lap 23. And this changes everything.
Changes a great deal of things, Evan, as we'll try to get a replay up on your screen. It looks like it might be the 8 of James Krahula that brings out this yellow flag, as they were 3 wide going off into turns 1 and 2. Krahula, Blum, and a whole other host of drivers get involved, but a slow spin for the 8 of James Krahula is what brings out the caution. But 3 wide racing, we're definitely no stranger to that here in the U-Car division.
And it just looked like those 2 cars up top didn't see it. You see, they're already too wide. He makes the move to the bottom. Car in the middle there, the orange car, I think the orange car notices that yellow entry in the center, the 58 of Messi. I think he figured it out, but the 72 had no idea, and you just can't fit 3 cars into 2 cars of real estate. And now we're going to go to red flag conditions, so we're parked on the front straightaway. Race control is going to direct drivers into the proper positions to line up 3 wide. We will complete lap number 23. We will go green the next time by at the completion of 24, so it should be a green-white checker finish.
Yeah, and look at this. I think Gabe Wood will actually start from a really good position here. I know everything looks a little jumbled up as it is, but knowing that Gabe Wood will have another chance to get to the front row here, I think he's going to start in, let's see here. Yeah, he's going to start in the 2nd row, it looks like, right there in the middle. So he's got a lot of options. but so does Ricky Harden. Ricky's going to be starting on the bottom, which actually effectively puts Ricky in the championship lead. So this is actually a very, very important restart for both drivers right here.
We will find out how this race is going to shake out. It'll be 2 laps to go for Myrtle Beach. Green flag back in the air as the 4 is beaten all over the 30 car. Here comes Beverly in the middle.
As they get going down into turns 1 and 2, contact all over the place up front as now you see Dravicki try to give a little bump to the 42 of Beverly. Now Yoakum and Blum going to get into it, and Gabe and the 15 of Ricky Harden going to get into it, spinning down
White flag.
The inside. White flag in the air.
Like to let him race it out. Dravicki on the inside of the racetrack. He goes high, doors the 42 of Everly, and now tries to clear it at quarter number 2. Final time. Watch Krahula in 3rd. If the top 2 don't make it home, the 42 for the crossover tries to take a swing at the back end. It is not going to be enough. And in the drag race to the line, Will Dravicki, UCAR's winner.
He does get the job done, was able to hold off a lot of hungry drivers, and a lot of things happened at the very end of that race that kind of made that championship happen. And then it'll actually go to Ricky Harden, and I do believe that Harden actually took the 0-0 out of that race. So I think if they kept going, it was going to be Jeremy's race anyways, but Gabe Wood, I think that just kind of finished him off at that point, which is unfortunate for him, but he did get a good hit there. I think we're going to get a replay of it right here. They're going 4 wide here in the back straightaway, and so this is the important one. So Gabe goes up top, gets a little bit of a nudge, and here comes the 15 right up the track and just gets into him basically. The 15 just got into the corner, I think, a little too hot, and right here might have been what ended his chance of getting the UCAR's Fun Championship.
Yeah, don't imagine that, for all of the races we've seen in these UCARs, Chris, and all the different 3-wide restarts, that it could possibly come down to the final lap after all of that.
Yeah, it really just all went up in smoke, quite literally there. Evan is coming to the white flag, and it was all over the place. Contact, drivers spinning everywhere, championship up for grabs, and there was still a race winner to be had, and that turns out to be the 30 of Will Dravicki, coming all the way from 3rd to 1st. Not too big. He was around the top of the leaderboard throughout the entire race, so congratulations to that driver.
Looks like Hugh will be available for us on a pit road in just a minute. Before we head down there, as always, we take a look top to bottom at your LSRTV full race results for the UCARs. Dravicki gets the win, and DJ Beverly comes home only 3 100ths behind in the number 2 position. James Krahula, 3rd position in this one. How about Tyler Stevens? Quiet night up to P4, and Jody Green rounds out your top 5.
Finishing 6th will be Jody Green, and then Ricky Harden finishes 7th. Roy Blum 8th. Jeremy Watkins finishes 9th, and then Gabe Wood falls to 10th. David Messier, Joshua King, and Christian Peterson did not race this race, so it'd just be David Messier and Joshua King that finish out the field.
That's a look top to bottom. Let's go down to victory lane for the first time this season. Will Dravicki is the winner of the UCARs division. Will, congratulations. A 2-lap to go restart, though, I'm sure is not what you were hoping for, but at the end of the day, you guys end up on top, beating out Beverly there in that photo finish.
No, I definitely wasn't hoping for that caution there. I've been having shifter issues all night tonight. Thankfully, it's the last week of the season for that to happen, so I can get that worked out by the time the cars tour rolls around here. But yeah, it was fun. This is a ridiculous little series we run here, but it's a good time.
Obviously, we've gotten a little bit, I think, over the weeks, a better idea of how to race in these UCARs. The first 2-3 weeks was just absolute chaos. But we've seen, people get pretty fast in these cars, yourself included in that, and it has become a little bit more of a, I don't know if a racing, series is the right way to put it, but it's become a lot more competitive as far as, it's not just a complete free-for-all. Guys know what they're doing. So what's that evolution been like over the course of the year where you guys have gotten better and better to the point where you end out the season with a win?
Well, it's all momentum based with this car. You just got to keep up the RPMs, keep the momentum going, really swing it in wide and swing it out wide to keep that momentum up. And I've been fast in these cars all season. I led a whole bunch of laps in these cars too. I just haven't been fortunate enough to pull off a victory. But a lot of the guys have caught on to, it's all momentum based, and just a lot of clean racers in this league. So, we get put on some good shows.
I'm sure that I know the drivers always look forward to it, because we were talking not all that long ago at the end of the street stock race, with our winner there, and really wanted to get down and jump into this. So it's one that we enjoy. It's one that you guys enjoy, and it always is fun for us when you guys put on a show. So we appreciate you guys for doing what you guys do, Will. But I know that, this is a very fun car. It's even funner to win in. So now that you're down in victory lane with a win in your belt in these cars, who do you want to thank for it?
Oh, first I got to thank my wife, obviously. She's a rock in my life. Everything happens around her. Got to thank Kyle Barnes for putting on this whole Myrtle Beach series. He did a really good job all season long. It's been a grind here, but he did it. He pulled it off, and what a wonderful series he's brought together here. Thank my teammates at 09 Motorsports, Wilkinson, Henley, Fortin. We're really looking forward to the Cars Tour season starting. We got a solid team built up. And my sponsor, Croak and Toads RC Raceway up in Dundee, New York, for sponsoring a car and letting us put their sticker on our hood.
I'll tell you what, it was a good photo finish. So there's a nice shot of that decal on that car up on the Twitter page. So make sure you let them see it. Will, congratulations on the win. Appreciate your time again. Congrats and the best of luck going forward. Not only for the the next couple of races we have here with the Myrtle Beach Series, but of course when Cars returns on Wednesdays. We'll catch you then.
Yeah, thanks a lot. We still got 2 special events here with the Myrtle Beach Series that we're looking forward to also. And I want to thank you guys at LSRTV. You're the best in the business. You put on a good show. And thank you guys for what you do week in and week out.
Luck of those thoughts, as we always say. Our job's a lot easier when you guys put on a good race at Will, so we appreciate it. Again, congratulations. We'll catch you soon.
Thank you.
Race winner tonight, the U Cars. And for the way that this night kind of started, Coop, for 2 11-time winners. How about 2 first-time winners to round out the night?
Yeah, I got the best of both worlds in that regard. So yeah, really fun to watch exactly what was going on with those guys. And we got 2 championship winners who won their respective races, and got 2 guys that didn't win all season in their division. So I think that's kind of a cool twist to the end of the season like this. We still got some more special events for these guys, but basically championships are over with, and these guys will be looking forward to the next simulation series that probably won't be at Myrtle Beach. Not that we haven't had a lot of fun at Myrtle Beach, but definitely I think they did Southern National first, and that was about 2 years ago now. Now that's become this, and we'll see what happens next time, if there's a next time, but nevertheless, this was fun as it was.
Well, if you're out there and your local short track is on the iRacing service, let them know, and maybe they can get partnered up here with the folks at Championship Esports. 5 different winners, though, Chris, over the course of 6 races tonight. Turnage, Cocker, Peterson, Green, and Dravicki. A nice spread as far as who made it to victory lane tonight. So very competitive evening. I think at the end of the day, that's really all you can ask for.
It really is, Evan, and it's like you said to Dravicki, our job's a lot easier when the racing's great, and it's been stellar all night tonight with, like you said, 5 different winners. It's not, normal that we get that in this series. You normally see a bunch of drivers sweep a few different series, like the Cuckers and the Petersons, and even sometimes Jeremy Adams and other drivers getting up there in the mix. But it was nice to see a nice competitive field throughout the night, and in the point season in a really nice way. Like Coop said, a whole lot more special events to come up in the weeks to come.
There are still a couple of those races with this Myrtle Beach Simulation Series before we turn our focus back to the Cars eSport Tour that'll be making a return here on Wednesdays. Also, the CEA Truck Series is going to be coming on Sundays. We'll have more information on that on the social media stuff over the next couple of days, but you don't have to wait until next Wednesday to hear more from us, because we'll be with you tomorrow night. It is Championship Night, the final race of the Upstate Racing League Pro Late Model Series. That's tomorrow at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We hope you join us. Then, of course, on Friday at 9 o'clock as well, it is the Southwest Construction Super Speedway Cup Series doubleheader on Saturday with the Outlaw Modifieds and the USR trucks starting at 9 and then at 10. And that is just the tip of the iceberg for what's to come. You can find the full schedule online, www.livesracing.com. But the best way to stay up to date with us is by subscribing, turning your notifications on right here on YouTube, but as well by following us on social media. That's by liking us on Facebook at facebook.com/LSRTV official, and by following us on Twitter at LSRTV. Until next time, though, on behalf of the entire team here at Lives Racing LLC, for the folks behind the scenes, Laura Lawson, everybody who makes it happen up at the booth night in and night out, and of course for your team tonight. For myself, Evan Pasoko, Austin Coop, Chris Burnock, and our producer, Cisco Scaramuza, I want to thank you for tuning in and congratulate our 5 different race winners tonight. We are done points racing, but we are not done racing. The Myrtle Beach 250 is next Wednesday, February the 21st. That race and every race of the Myrtle Beach Simulation Series presented by the Championship Esports Association can be found right here on LSR TV, your home for sim racing. Until next time, good night.